I'm yelling. Are we playing a game? I'm yelling.
That's how it starts. That is the beginning of the recording.
Oh,
Playing a game, I'm yelling. I mean, that's kind of appropriate. We're catching up where we were a few weeks ago after the epic Truth and Dare showdown.
Yep.
It's not Truth or Dare. You all picked at least both once. And it went for a bit.
At the same time.
Yeah. If anyone is watching this on YouTube or something in the future, we're going to sound a little bit different because we're all in one place.
Woo!
It's the
magic of Christmas. Or something.
It also means you're not going to see all the die rolls because we have physical dice that we might roll from time to time just because we can.
I mean, you don't see all the dice rolls anyway because I make some important character decisions based on physical die rolls.
It's an important D6. But yeah, so apologies for sound or whatever, but we're just going to kick it off and have some fun. And you make it other random noises in the background too because we're all around each other. And we'll also try to remember that we should maybe describe things because we actually can see each other's face. But who knows? It'll be fun. Super quick recap from the last time. So after all of the adventures in Paris and the misadventures finding a mage lab on the way through, we actually got to London, arriving at the circle and at least the designated travel circle for Clock Tower, and like not in Clock Tower. We went through Clock Tower TSA with some very convincing disguises and some incredibly tall tales about who our characters are and their fake names. I'm sure that'll come back in some fun way in the future.
Oh boy.
But after getting through that, we also split off a bit. So Vivi went off to Clock Tower so she could, get some things in motion because she's got to actually like do a class on Monday, and it's currently Saturday night at that point. So she went off to Clock Tower. Anise, Penelope, Derek, and Johnny, and Hemlock went to essentially the Phantasmal District quarter for London, where it's called Grimm's Hideaway, and it's where all the phantasmal species in London who've been here for so long set up a long time ago. And whether or not Clock Tower and the Human Mages Association like it, they're very stubborn. They've settled in, and they're like, this is ours. You can't have it. And so this has been a recurring bit of tension over time, but so far, so good. Everything's held out. That is where Anise has her grandpap's potion shop, and by extension, her cousins and uncle taking care of it in her absence while she went to Germany so very long ago.
So long ago.
Like 3 whole weeks ago. Timelines are fun. But yeah, so they went there upon arriving and playing undercover boss in their disguises for a little bit. Unfortunately, of the 2 cousins, trying to remember exactly how this went. So Beach saw through things pretty much immediately, if I recall correctly.
Yeah.
Completely saw through it, but as it turns out... Oh, Buck did. You're right. Yeah. Buck saw through it immediately. Buck saw through everything immediately and proceeded to, despite all attempts, identify Penelope as Penelope, which is amazing because she has an absolutely incredible disguise as Jan Saxcoat. But it turns out Buck is a giant fan of Penelope, and there's in fact an entire underground Clock Tower fandom for Penelope, who, among other things, distribute bootleg merchandise, fanzines, recordings of her concerts, and more or less everything to give the middle finger to Mage Society and all of their telling phantasmals to be quiet and hide. So, big fans of hers, and that meant that Buck was capable of seeing through that pretty well. Upon going to the garden in the backyard, they found Beach, who is the more reserved of the 2 cousins, to put it mildly. More chill and introspective of the 2. And it took him a moment to figure out what was going on, but ultimately he actually provided more useful information about the current circumstances in the area. So as it turns out, recently one of the locals, a Furbolg, who stays in the area, I don't think I actually dropped his name, but we'll bring it up in the session as we go. He had some things appearing in his basement. There were some methods similar to the ones from way back in Germany that popped up ran amok in the Einsburn forest and proceeded to explode when defeated. Apparently some of them appeared in his basement, got out a bit, and made enough of a stink that Clock Tower decided to take this as an opportunity to come in and assert authority a little bit, because if the phantasmal species can't keep things quiet, then it becomes more of an issue for policies and other people for keeping magical secrets. It's also kind of known that this area is very close to where the Clock Tower botany department is set up, and they would absolutely love to get more control over this ley line, which is currently doing a very good job of feeding the phantasmal species in their businesses here. So there's some issues there. Anice's uncle went to go sort some of these things out and try to de-escalate stuff. Apparently he went with some kind of lawyer, a phantasmal species lawyer, so we may see how that goes later. But he went to settle some of that, and that's why he's out at the moment. Other than that, things have been, relatively chill. People have been buying up more potions. In fact, the whole stock is gone because of a break-in a few weeks ago, putting everyone on edge. The party identified pretty easily that this was when Lupin broke in and stole that Mystic Code. So Clock Tower is a little edgy, but otherwise things are moving along. As part of the catch-up, Anise recapped the entire campaign so far, so I'm not going to get meta with a recap within a recap, but that's there. And then the group kind of settled in, made some food in a kitchen that does now exist on the map, but wasn't there before. And then our main party, minus the cousins, decided to play Truth or Dare for approximately an hour and a half, during which a few truths got out. I'm not going to recap all of the truths and dares. You're all welcome to go back in time. The only outstanding things at this point from that entire conversation are that Penelope is carrying a dare to go and steal the bootleg shirt of herself from Cousin Buck at some point, which is a bit more difficult because, as an elf, he does not sleep. He trances, and he was wearing it last time she saw it. So that's a little thing that's floating out there. But otherwise, it was a lot of back and forth information. The group finally decided to settle in and get some sleep, and that was where we wrapped up. It is currently, as of wrap up, it was Saturday night. The general time frame is that we have Sunday, when Anise is planning on maybe brewing up a bunch of potions and getting some things in order here, and Monday will be when Clock Tower goes back in session. The group is planning on sort of putting on their costumes again, sneaking in, looking around. There's a few areas they wanted to check out. They know that a previous Grail War master, survivor, one of the only known survivors of a Grail War, is currently a teacher there. So that's important. There's some interest in checking out the actual botany department on the other side of this. And a few other interesting places like Spiritual Evocation and other stuff, and maybe running into that guy whose workshop you crashed, who apparently is also doing work with Clock Tower. So lots of stuff to figure out. One thing that was also outstanding last time when we wrapped up was that as of going to sleep time, Anice's uncle has not yet returned. Mm-hmm. So did anyone have anything else that they wanted to do overnight, or can I safely assume that we sleep in?
We sleep in.
I do have a quick question.
Yeah.
Because I could not remember which of the three of these it was.
Okay.
Which department does Vivi teach in? Is it archaeology, architecture, or anthropology? Or is it none of those?
She's archaeology.
Archaeology.
Yeah.
I was like, it's one of those three. I know
Yeah.
it's an A, and it probably ends with ology.
Yeah.
But I don't remember which A-ology it
Yep.
is.
Yeah, she's doing work with the archaeology department. Her goal is to ultimately get close enough that they'll let her into to use the Type Moon full name of it, the Spiritual Tomb Albion, which is essentially the giant dead dragon under a clock tower that is the reason London is where it is in Type Moon.
Woohoo!
And she's like, oh, cool, giant dead dragon. I want to go there. I want to talk to that. Because occasionally it murmurs something, and she wants to hear it because she's Vivi.
Yep.
So she's been sort of being an adjunct professor to help out with some things as the clock tower staff is constantly rotating as people have a tendency to get lost in their own projects looking for the route / go on trips or sabbaticals / get killed because they have dangerous and stupid lives. Mages.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's where she's going to be at on
Okay.
Monday.
Cool. So, I want to see if Penelope can wake up like in the middle of the night and try and sneak over.
Okay. Is she gonna do like anything to make herself wake up, like setting an alarm or something, or are you relying on her natural ability to wake up in the middle of the night?
That one.
Okay, if you want to do that one, then that'll probably just be a Constitution check, just to see if you're passed out, because you had a long day. You fought books.
I did 5 books. Hold on.
And wandered around Paris and everything else.
Trying to remember. Okay, con check is just d20 plus 1. Okay. It's a 6.
Okay. And that's with the plus?
Yeah.
Okay, not really. Like, you're pretty tired. So you're kind of snoozing through that, barring any outside sources.
Womp womp.
Where's Penelope sleeping?
I figured she and Johnny were gonna sleep in, like, I don't know, sleeping bags or under a blanket or something.
You can.
Roughly where they are.
Sure, just plopping on the carpet.
Yeah.
Okay. Not a problem. And then Anise and Derek are in the bed, so I'm gonna... Ooh, I get to advance the game clock in real time. Da-da-da-da-da. Might as well make that visible here too. That's the combat tracker, not that. Stop fighting, everything stop fighting. Ah,
Oh no, now we have to fight Vivi.
that would be terrible. I think it's just mad because I have 2 instances of Fantasy Grounds at once.
Oh.
Which I always do, but it gets slow sometimes.
It's just cranky about it.
Oh, are you just lagging? Can you drag that up there? There we go. Weird. What is wrong with you? Just let me click on the icon. You guys are seeing it open and close the combat tracker when I click on the calendar, right?
Yeah, that's weird.
That's very strange.
Huh.
You know, I'll tell you what time it is. It's fine. That's just such a weird and new problem that I haven't had before. I'm wondering if it's because of the multi-screen setup and it being dumb.
Maybe.
Anyway. Whatever. You can look at a combat tracker. We're not fighting anything. It's fine.
On here it says 9 p.m.
Yeah,
on
because we're going to
Saturday.
fast forward it a day. What time does Penelope normally wake up? Because she's probably the one who will get up the earliest. But I'm going to roll for everybody.
I don't know. Like, maybe around like 8 or 9, depending on the day.
Okay. All right. So I'm gonna fast forward it a little before either of you would naturally wake up, unless Anise wants to roll for her waking up. Because I imagine Anise probably gets up a little earlier at home, but that's up to you.
My die roll determined that Anise would probably be so comfortable that she would sleep in.
Okay. We are gonna go with 7 a.m. while both of you are asleep. There we are. That's fine. That'll do.
We snoozing.
You snoozing. So you're both well and comfortably asleep. At which point, each of you give me a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Because you're snoozing.
We snoozing.
Perception.
Perception is for wisdom, so it's plus 1.
Oh, one was a 19 and the
Yeah.
other was a 3.
That is the nature of disadvantage.
I had 11 and a 9, so a 10.
Okay.
Right.
All right. In that case.
A lot of dice rolling.
I'm rolling for everybody else too. They're also rolling with disadvantage because they're all sleeping. By the way, you'll be able to prepare new spells should you choose different stuff today since it is morning time. Okay, so Penelope,
Yes.
you hear a noise like as you're in the midst of enjoying whatever Penelope dreams about. I'll let you decide that internally.
I rolled Hemlock's perception, so he got an 8. I just realized that because
Yeah.
I'm like, wait, Nasoya and self-invisibility. What? No. Let me try actually rolling Anice's perception.
Oh, you were rolling with Hemlock before.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's not much better.
That's also
That's
3.
worse.
That's great. Wonderful.
Oh.
Okay. Yeah. So in your dreams, Penelope, you're having a relatively calming and peaceful dream. You're remembering your earlier days of traveling on the roads every once in a while. It's just nice. You're riding along in the back of a car. It's cool. It's just someone who's giving you a ride. You're like, whatever, this is fine. This is what we halflings do before your life really picked up. And then as you're sitting there, the driver of the car sort of leans over and looks back to you. And you're pretty used to people treating you like a kid, so you sort of roll your eyes whenever someone tries to talk to you.
Yeah.
But the driver is nice, relatively kind, blue-collar guy. You think you're probably somewhere in Italy or France or something. Says back to you in English, Penelope, are you awake? Penelope, wake up. Penelope. At this point, you can tell that person's face shifts and you just see Johnny looking back at you.
Ah!
And then you wake up and you see Johnny sitting like right next to you, just going, Penelope, are you awake?
I am now. Hello.
Oh, good. Okay. I think someone just came in downstairs.
Ah,
We should probably wake up the others, but I wanted to ask you first.
yeah. Okay. Oh God, this is gonna suck because Anise doesn't wake up easy. Okay, so I'm gonna go over.
Maybe if you wake him up first, and she points at Derek,
Yes.
who is currently, you can see him lying there like he's asleep, but he's in that special state of being asleep where you're pretty confident he can't feel one of his arms because
Aw.
there's someone lying on top of it. So, like, you get a general vibe that he'd probably be the easier of the two to wake up.
Okay, I'm gonna. Boop 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 boop. I apparently just jumped on the bed.
Hop
No.
on the bed. That would probably wake someone up.
Actually, you know what? Yeah, I'm just gonna jump on the bed.
You're just going to hop on the bed?
Yep. Just hop on the end of the bed. And
It's unnecessary, but
Flip
do it
down
anyway.
slightly.
Do an acrobatics roll, because that's fun. We're rolling for jumping on the bed.
Okay, let's see. Acrobatics. That's a natural 20 plus 5, so it's 25.
Jesus.
Beautiful. Okay, so upon Johnny pointing out that maybe you should go and get Derek awake, Penelope nods. She stands up. She brushes herself off a little bit to wake up a little bit. She slaps her face slightly. And then she stares over at the bed. And she can see that at this point in time, contrary to stories in the past, Derek is being the big spoon. And so one of his arms is under Anice's head, and she's sort of snuggled up against him. And Penelope calmly walks over to the edge of the bed, observes the placement of the legs and the spoon coordination, and then puts her hands on the bed, on like the end of the bed, lifts herself up like she's doing a pole vault or something. Or like a high jump, really, more likely. A vaulting horse type thing. So she hops up, and then she lands on the bed with her legs situated exactly around the inside of their stuff, which prompts, but she lands perfectly, hands completely out and balanced. The bed sinks down right there. Derek's monk reflexes kick in, and he stares up instantly to determine like what's going on and where he is. Anise also awakens in
Yep,
this because
Anise
it's a
does
perfect
awake.
roll. So both of them wake up at once, but what they wake up to is seeing a perfectly balanced Penelope looming over them like some sort of like amazing Olympic athlete glaring down upon them both, completely calm and balanced. And then they also see Johnny sitting over to the side, and Johnny is holding up 10 fingers to give the sign of exactly what score you've earned on your amazing leap.
Good morning.
Good morning, Penelope. What? What?
So there's somebody just came in downstairs.
Ah,
Is it ninjas? Do we need to fight ninjas?
it's
I don't know. Johnny just woke me up and said there's somebody that just came in downstairs.
Did it sound like breaking and entering, or just someone coming in?
I think it was just someone coming in on account of
Uncle, he has a key.
nothing was broken. I don't know what time this place opens, but it's a Sunday, so I imagine not too early.
Yes. Not what time is it? Does
It's
anyone?
like, I don't know, checking my phone.
It's about 7.
It's like 7.
Not that early. All right. I'll go. And she just kind of sits up. I'll go downstairs and see if it's Uncle.
Okay. As Anise is sitting up, the mattress is shifting under Penelope, so she effortlessly does a backflip right off of the bed to use up the rest of her natural 20. Like it's nothing.
Ooh.
Just like a perfect tumble off.
One of the more pleasant ways I've been awoken recently.
Yeah. I mean, I can do this again tomorrow morning if you want.
Anise just kind of ignores that. Goes and gets some clothes, different clothes. I haven't designed a new outfit. Different clothes out of the chest. Goes, changes. Oh, I suppose I can rotate myself back now. Hang on. There's the map.
I was like, if anybody else would like an acrobatics wake-up call tomorrow morning, just let me know.
We'll have to see where we are. Anise is
do it.
not having a coughing fit. Kim is having a coughing fit. Anise is in perfect health.
Anise, are you okay?
The otherworldly coughing.
And she changes pretty quickly, and all right. I'm gonna go see if it's Uncle Heath.
Okay, as Anise is getting up and doing all of this, Derek attempts to flip himself out of the bed, but unfortunately, because his arm is asleep, it's not exciting. Like, he doesn't hurt himself or anything, but it was not nearly as smooth as he was hoping for.
Oh no.
He just sort of leans forward and sort of does a thing that he saves pretty well into a tumble, but you're pretty sure that wasn't what he was aiming for.
But Anise did not see that.
Because she was in the bathroom?
Oh yeah.
Nice.
So
nice try. Nice try, Derek.
Throws on some new clothes, kind of like make sure her hair is not crazy.
It's true. This is the first time in a month you've been home with access to the rest of your wardrobe.
She still just uses like the stone instead of like actually washing up or anything, because it's so much easier. All right, I'm gonna go see if it's Uncle Heath. I will be right back, I guess.
Do you want anybody to come with you in case it's not your uncle?
Oh, that's a fair point. If you want to come with me, you can. Sure.
Okay. I'll come along.
I might start on breakfast too,
Ooh.
since I have a kitchen now.
You don't have to tell me.
It's true. I will drag the map over to the kitchen.
I'm still in my pajamas. I'm not bothering to get dressed right now. She's got her hair up in like a little, really just messy ass ponytail because literally just woke up. You'd think she'd have cuter pajamas on right now. She does not.
Wow, it's really hating this.
I imagine Anice's PJs were like a long sleeve flannel shirt that's long enough to be pajamas.
That'll work. Woo. Yeah, seeing as the second screen is having a little trouble lagging, I'm not going to be dumping too many tokens onto it for right now.
Anise pokes her head into the main shop area and looks around to see if she can spot who came in.
Yeah, it's pretty easy to see that it is your Uncle Heath. He's walked back. He looks kind of tired. You can see it on his eyes a bit. Do you want to describe him, appearance-wise? I have a feeling you'd be better at it than I would.
Yes. Give me a second to actually pull up the picture
Sure.
of him. You have it.
Yeah, I
right?
got it. I'll display it too, but you can do the word description.
Oh, I have a D&D folder. It's in there. So yeah, Uncle Heath, he's an elf, but he looks like he's on the older side, even for an elf. He just looks very tired, but yeah, he's got he keeps his hair short. It's bright blonde. But for whatever reason, I think this was probably just that they didn't have an option to make the beard blonde. But
Sure.
he has a little bit of a beard too, and it's also blonde, and he's got bright blue eyes. He's dressed pretty nice. Very obviously, the father of Buck and Beach. He's tall, well-built, elf man.
Elf man.
Elf man. You're a man and But being that I can assume he's been
There we go.
out all night, he looks very tired. But
Yeah.
he always kind of looks tired because, again, he's Buck's father.
That's fair.
He's
Yeah.
He's the older sibling, the oldest sibling out of what is Anice's mom and him and probably some others that I might make up.
As is the nature of elven families, it is a long and complicated tree.
Got
Yeah.
a huge ass family.
Yeah.
I mean, families get bigger when people live forever. So
And
there's that.
Heath's wife and mother of his children is still alive, but she's been off overseas for a while. But it's not like a while in elf terms.
Yeah.
It's a while in Anice's life terms. She's maybe met her once when she was a preteen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The fun thing about elves is they can just go do a thing for 100 years,
Mm-hmm.
as you do.
Yes, you do.
So, yeah. So he's coming in, as you mentioned before. He does definitely look tired. You get the sense that he probably didn't get a lot of sleep last night, and obviously he's just coming in now. When he sees you walking in, you see a smile creeping onto his face. It occurs to you that since he hadn't been home yet, he didn't necessarily expect to see you.
Right.
But he's gonna. You see that he was carrying a bunch of a satchel with books and other things in it. He sets that down on the counter area of the shop, and then he turns and he smiles at you. Is Penelope still lurking in the doorway behind her?
Yep.
Okay. Oh, Anise, it's good to see you.
It's good to see you too, Uncle.
God.
I'm glad you're not a robber.
That would be unfortunate, yes.
You look more tired than usual.
I've had a very long night.
Yes.
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 Have you been in long?
We got in last night. I have 3 people with me that you'll meet eventually.
Oh,
You can
good.
meet one of them now, unless she doesn't want to come out.
Hold up. She's stuck. Hold on.
It's people I've met in my travels. Oh my gosh, a lot has happened.
Did you meet them in Germany? Oh, hello. It's
Hello.
a pleasure to meet you. I'm Anice's uncle, and if you've had the fortune or misfortune of meeting my kids, then I am responsible for both of them.
Yeah, they filled me in on a lot of Beach filled me in on a lot of what's happened. Buck is a little bit better behaved than I thought he would be.
Yeah, he's both of them have been spending more time with a few of the others from our clan, and I think they've been getting disciplined in different ways.
That's good.
I think they were a bit inspired by seeing you taking over the shop here and taking more responsibility, and
That's good.
if I'm being honest, I think you kicking Buck's ass a few times has made him a bit more competitive.
Good.
I'm not sure I entirely agree on his choice of mentors, but regardless, he seems to be getting better.
He's putting his energy towards something.
I could totally see you kicking Buck's ass.
Oh yes.
Oh, quite handily. She's
I was taller than him until pretty recently.
Oh no.
I think I don't know. I could probably still kick his ass, but it might be a little harder now.
he's gotten a bit more nimble.
Yeah, I noticed.
He's definitely gotten more nimble. He seems to be getting a lot more practice in with not being where people are punching, and that's probably serving him well.
Smart. Do you want coffee or do you want to meditate?
Actually, I think we might be a bit too busy for that. I'm not going to be sleeping for a bit. Have they informed you of the recent incidents involving the
Methods?
the
Yes.
small exploding
Oh, I've
monster things.
dealt with mephits, and I know probably more than you think about what's going on with that.
That'll be good to hear. For now, I was actually going to wake up the boys and send them around to spread the news that the association's going to be sending some people around to essentially put their nose in places where they're not welcome.
Great.
I don't
It's a
expect
great
him
time
to
come back.
I don't expect them to get any cooperation whatsoever, but they're going to walk around. Mostly what I did yesterday was keep them stalled long enough that they decided it wouldn't be worth doing yesterday. So for the most part, I don't think we've got anything to worry about, save maybe whatever's going on in Fletcher's basement. But and as you would know, Fletcher is what people call the Furbolg. Just for your background information, and in general, Furbolg don't really think names are an important concept. It's not really a thing for them. They just sort of go with whatever people call them. And in the case of Fletcher, he might be one of the oldest people here, period. Like, he settled in the area before London was properly considered London. He's a very old Furbolg druid. And he's in a similar way to how you work with nature to create potions. He works with nature to grow plants and trees into whatever it is they think they would be good at. Which means that rather than being a woodworker who traditionally grows a tree, cuts it down, shapes it into whatever it needs to be after it's dead, he directly grows like plants into chairs or staves or whatever makes sense. But it's usually like you've seen him just growing up in the area. Like, he doesn't choose what they're going to be. He talks to the plants, and they presumably talk back and tell him what they want to be, and then he guides them accordingly, and then he won't sell anything. He just gives them to the people that the plants want to go to. So he's a pretty chill old guy. The idea that he would have methods in his basement is pretty absurd, but you kind of have an idea of what that's about. But also, because he's a very long-lived and not at all in a hurry Furbolg, it's better that other people are probably handling his problems right now. And in fact, like, your Uncle Heath will continue on. We're trying to keep them largely away from him because he doesn't really care for Clock Tower.
I mean,
who
does?
As no one really does, but also he wouldn't really take any threats they make very seriously, and that might be problematic for the rest of us. So I went there along with a very kind, what are they, tieflings? A tiefling lawyer. I dare say that it definitely makes the Mages Association uncomfortable to think that they're dealing with an actual devil, which is incredibly racist on their part. But, you know, it's intimidating because they've still internalized the idea that devils don't lie. They're just very good at bending the truth.
That's pretty funny.
So
I'm gonna have Penelope run into the kitchen.
Okay.
Like she's gonna go make coffee or something. I'm going to, for 2 seconds.
Yeah.
You're also going to make coffee.
I'm also gonna go. No, I'm not making coffee.
Method acting.
Yeah.
But yeah, so he sort of, like, you know, reminds you a little bit about that. And anyway, since they're gonna probably be coming around today, just poking around, making sure that we're not up to anything, I'm gonna send the boys around to just let everyone know, well, there shouldn't really be any problems. We'd rather not escalate things.
We don't need to stop trouble.
Because, I mean, as you know, some of our neighbors have been itching for a fight for a long time.
Yeah.
And we don't really need to encourage that.
Exactly. No, but I think Penelope is gonna start making some coffee, and I was gonna start making breakfast.
That might be good. I'm going to go send the boys out now just to give people the extra time, but I don't know that I've got the energy in me just yet, so that would be nice. We can catch up a little bit since you seem to know a bit more about what may be going on.
A lot has happened in the past month.
Okay, that sounds good then. I'll be right back.
Okay.
And he steps through and he heads out to the garden as well.
Cool.
And you can ascertain from what he said where he's going and what he's doing. So.
I'm gonna. You don't have to drop me back on the map
Sure.
upstairs. But I'm gonna pop up to the upstairs and go. We're starting on coffee and breakfast. If either of you two are interested, and you too, Hemlock. And then I'm gonna go over.
Is
to
it
the
okay
kitchen.
if I go downstairs, or do I need to make up?
Oh. You should be fine for now. Maybe later when the shop is open.
Okay.
For a second, I'm like, why would Derek? Oh no. That's the challenge.
Would you like me to go downstairs, or would you like me to put on makeup?
At least put on clothes.
Should I wear the mask? Should no one know that I'm here? Am I your secret?
You don't have to wear the mask. Please wear, clothes, though.
So how tall?
Can I wear my clothes, or do I still have to wear the clothes you all put me in
You
last
have to wear
night?
the French maid outfit.
No, you can wear your clothes.
All right.
I'm not even close to the middle of the stairs.
You were all wearing very different clothes by the end of that evening.
Yep.
How
But okay.
tall are the shelves in the kitchen?
In the kitchen?
I
That
able
is up to
to-
Anise.
Am I able to reach the coffee stuff?
How tall are you?
4 foot.
You can, but it's a stretch.
Okay.
Hang on.
You could probably climb on top of the cabinet and do it, or whatever. There's a counter.
Okay, so
I'm gonna try and climb up on the counter.
Okay. I'm not going to make you roll for that.
Okay.
I believe in you surviving in the world of man enough that you don't need to make a roll for this.
did I roll determined whether I came in halfway there or having already gotten the coffee?
I'm just
Cool.
up on the counter. Sorry.
Sorry, this place was built for elves.
It's fine. I'm used to it.
Do you want help?
Yes, please.
Okay, and I'll go help her.
I'm just gonna hop back down.
Start a big old pot of coffee and
Woohoo!
crack a whole bunch of eggs. Make some toast.
Okay.
If I had gotten that.
It's obviously, since there's not really much electricity in this area, it's like an actual wood burning stove that I'm cooking over. I assume. Yeah.
Yeah, there are sources of electricity, but most of the sources of electricity are treated as a resource, not just a thing that's always on.
Mm-hmm.
So a lot of it is either starting up an actual gas generator or having batteries or something if you need them for something. But most
Easy
of the
enough
stuff
to-
in here is old school.
Easy enough to just produce flame. Poof.
Yeah. That's the other benefit of being in a world with cantrips. Not everyone's a spellcaster, but there's enough of them that you can get by.
Mm. How do you like your eggs?
Surprise me.
Okay. Could you ask Johnny and Derek, why did I forget the names? How they like their eggs. Otherwise I'm just making a whole bunch of sunny side up.
Yeah. Okay.
That's how as far as I know the cousins and she's gone.
Zoom. Yeah.
She's got the zoomies.
Girls.
Okay, so as you get to the stairs, you find that both of them are coming down now.
Oh.
I'm not going to drag the tokens,
Yeah, no.
but yeah, they're coming down.
Yeah. Guys, how do you like your eggs?
I'm pretty flexible. I'm gonna eat the whole thing. Whereas Johnny is not deviled eggs. The jokes are endless. I'm from the American South. Any other form is good. Scrambling might be nice.
Okay. Cool. I'm just gonna run back over into the kitchen. Whee! And I apparently just jumped on Anise.
Well,
She's
okay, I'm
riding
used
out
to
that
this.
nat 20 acrobatics for the rest of the day.
Doesn't
No,
even flinch. I'm used to this. It's fine.
Yeah, Derek said he's cool with whatever. Johnny said she would prefer scrambled, but is okay with the whatever.
All right, so I'm gonna make roughly half of the eggs scrambled and half sunny side up,
Sweet.
Should be fine.
and then make some toast and trying to think of other breakfast foods.
I mean, you're in London, so probably sausages and other random meats.
I cook up a variety of breakfast foods.
Sure. As you're doing this, you can see your cousins are walking back through because they have to go through here to go outside and start doing stuff. For Penelope's reference, no one is wearing a Penelope shirt today. In fact, their outfits are a bit different. So Buck is wearing a bit more of a standard modern outfit. He's wearing like a hoodie. It's a nondescript one though. It doesn't have any like bands or anything on it. You get the impression that he probably just grabbed something and threw it on because he was rushing out pretty quickly. Beach, who's apparently wide awake and has been awake for a little bit, is maybe the more disciplined of the two, is actually wearing he's wearing a slightly baggy looking shirt. I'm not going to make you roll perception on this because you've been around enough people that do this for both of you to know that when you see someone who's a bit more prepared for trouble walking around, you can tell when they're wearing something under their shirt to maybe help out should someone hit them. So he seems to be a little more prepared should something go down today. But both of them step through. They're very polite.
Anise will just hand a sunny side up egg that she's put on a piece of toast to Beach, and then just shove the other one in Buck's mouth as he's starting to say something to her.
Yeah, as he's walking in, he's like, "Oh, hi, Penelope. This is really good. Thank you, Anise.
You're welcome.
We'll talk later."
Sure.
He waves and then he walks out.
There's coffee too. There's coffee too.
Don't show that in my mouth.
I won't.
Penelope's just like, thank you. Thank you.
So yeah, the two of them head forward and out. And you can see just even from where Penelope's standing now because of the big shop windows at the front that they've each gone a different direction outside and they're going door to door and knocking on it. You can sort of tell almost immediately which of the neighbors are more okay with people knocking on their door at 7 a.m. on a Sunday and which ones aren't. It looks like Buck ended up on the less happy side of the street.
Oh no.
Because Beach probably thought this through a little bit more.
Oh no.
But he's doing it with a smile, like he's powering through. He's talking to the wonderful halfling neighbors at the moment who... upon opening the door, he tilts his head a little bit to the left as something you can't quite tell flies over his shoulder. And he's just continuing on like nothing's wrong. But yeah, so they're taking care of that outside. Your uncle then walks in at about the time you've prepped the food. And he gratefully takes the plate that you're offering him. Oh, everyone else is down here too.
Oh, yes. These two, I also met them in my various travels. This is Derek, and this is Johnny.
It is a pleasure to meet you. Thank you for being such a kind... it's appropriate to call him a host, right?
Sure.
I don't know how this house works.
I mean, it's my house, technically.
Oh, well, thank you for being kind to Anise and helping take care of her then. He's trying really hard.
This is my uncle. This is Beach and Buck's father.
Hello, sir. My immediate compliments to you on one of your sons and my immediate appreciation of your patience with the other one. I appreciate the sincerity of both of you. You can tell that he's still sort of waking up, but the coffee is helping. So what can you tell me about what you think is going on? Because I've not exactly been digging yet, but we've not really had an issue with methods before.
Well, based on what Beach told me yesterday and various encounters I've had recently, I think that there's a portal to the other side of the world that opened up randomly in Fletcher's basement, and the methods came out.
The reverse side, like where the
fairies,
dragons and the fairies and everything? Okay.
Yes. We were able to confirm, we know someone on the other side of the world, and we were able to contact them, and she's kind of just gesturing in Penelope's direction vaguely.
Penelope's like sitting there just like with her hands on her face at this point, just being like, oh my god, if it's in his basement, I can try again. Ugh.
Now, we don't know, and we also know that Clock Tower knows a good bit about these things too. We don't know how to close it. We don't, other than putting some awful spell on it that makes it so that anything trying to come through, it gets a lot of pain. We don't know how to discourage any more things from coming through. We just know it's a portal, and it kind of just randomly opened. We're not sure, no one's really sure why. There's a lot of guesses, but...
That's a lot. So you've seen these before, though, and...
Yes.
Okay.
We know someone in Clock Tower that has been doing a lot of research on them, and we have some disguises that we're going to use to... I don't want to say infiltrate. We're going to go to Clock Tower and ask around about various things, including that.
You're going to do information gathering.
Yes.
I have a feeling that he's sort of... Like, you can see he's trying not to stare at Johnny while he says this part.
Mm-hmm.
I'm sure a lot of you will do a better job of getting information out of them. Actually, Buck has made a number of acquaintances there as well, so he might be able to give you some directions. All women. I'm sure you're surprised.
Oh, wow, what a shock.
Yeah, it's... Again, he seems to be getting better, but he's still Buck.
It's amazing to me how night and day different they are.
I suspect it has a lot to do with some informal rivalry between the two of them as well. They seem to have very different goals, but they both mean well. They're still good. So it sounds to me like someone might know how to close it, but for now, we might need to just make sure nothing comes out, at least while their inspectors are walking around.
And more importantly, that Clock Tower does not find out about it, because that's the last thing we need, is them thinking they have the right to go down there and do experiments. And there was someone using it as like an energy source, which is bad, because that's taking mana away from the other side of the world, and I think our side.
I don't entirely understand the metaphysics or whatever of that, but that definitely sounds like a problem. And this is we got an invitation in the mail for you to go to a thing in a week. I assume you're familiar with that.
Oh yes.
Okay, good.
I don't know exactly what all will be discussed, but I can't imagine that whole situation isn't going to come up. It's
all right. Well, in that
recent,
case,
but a pretty big deal.
In that case, I will do what I can to keep them away from Fletcher's place, but it might be a good idea if you or some of your friends are making sure nothing comes out while we do it. Because, quite honestly, I'm sure that Beach could probably be helpful with this, but I want the two of them keeping an eye on everyone else.
Yeah.
And as far as Clock Tower's aware, you and your friends either don't exist or are out of town, so they might not notice anyone absent for a little bit if you want to...
That is fair.
Babysit the basement, so to speak. It's up to you.
Well,
I mean, we could obviously get Fletcher and others to help as well.
We might be able to replicate that spell that makes it so that, I mean, it doesn't prevent things from coming through, but it makes it painful to do it. I don't know.
It sounds a bit rough, but
yeah.
I guess.
But I mean, the alternative is they come through, they start a whole lot of trouble, and they die because they can't be supported. There's not enough mana over here. Unless they're trolls and they can regenerate.
Have you encountered trolls?
Yes.
Oh. Haven't seen those in a bit.
Yeah. Yeah, we sent them off to Germany. It's a long story. They'll be fine until we can figure out how to send them back.
I was gonna say, honestly, I kind of wish we had known that there was a portal in your neighbor's basement, because we could have just sent them back through that.
That's true, but we would have had to get trolls all the way from France to here.
Yeah, I mean, they had to get trolls from France to Germany.
Yeah, but there's a ship.
Yeah.
He's just sort of watching the two of you go back and forth on that one. And then Johnny in the background just sort of trying to... It makes sense in context.
A lot has happened. I can recap the whole thing if you want.
You send him to the last episode and he's like, oh, of course, on YouTube. Playful mimic, I understand.
This all makes sense.
Excellent. I can watch it at 2.5% speed and it'll go ridiculously chipmunky. Wonderful. Maybe if someone gets responsible, they'll just make a recap video so that anyone coming in late can catch up. Who knows? but more in character. It might be a good idea just to keep an eye on it for now. I suspect that they're using this as an opportunity to look around, but the tiefling fellow that's helping us out a bit is dug out some very old precedent, and I think that's got them a bit spooked. So for now, I think they're just trying to throw weight around.
Trying to intimidate us.
A bit. I think they've just found an excuse to poke around, and they're going on a bit of a fishing expedition rather than actually expecting to find anything. From what the nice lawyer man said, it sounds like our right to be here is actually enshrined in something older than London itself. Some kind of deal made between the Fae and King Arthur of all people.
Yeah.
So that's a bit of a jump, but you know what?
Hey, whatever works.
The clock tower probably doesn't actually care either, but if someone throws some legal words around, there's enough conservatives in there that they'll argue the meaning of it for 300 or so years, so should be fine. But yeah, so I'm going to get rested up, and you know the way to Fletcher's, right?
Yeah.
Okay. That's good.
Been wanting to talk to him anyway. I finally learned how to talk to plants, so...
Oh, he'll probably be very happy to hear that. He's always happy to find people who can speak their language. I recall a few times he complained about how the rest of us don't seem to understand what we're doing every time we're pruning a plant, and it kind of kept me up at night for a few days. But whatever the case, and so with that happy note, he starts eating.
I've had 3 cups of coffee by now.
Anise is still working her way through her first.
Yeah, 3 cups of coffee.
Did you roll for coffee?
I did.
Excellent. Yeah, the others have been just sort of casually eating away because they've heard the recap a few times, and Derek is a bit interested in this this Furbolg, who's very old and apparently can also talk to plants. That guy sounds really cool.
So, he is very cool. I've met him a few times.
I mostly just want to go see his basement.
I mean, we need to go take a look anyway, just to make sure it is actually what we think it is.
Yeah.
So we can do that. At some point today, I need to make 11,000 potions. Tomorrow we can go to Clock Tower and see what we can figure out.
And then at some point today, while your cousins are out, I need to fulfill an oath. Yep.
I mean, now might be a pretty good
At
time.
present, you can see where both of them are, and they're outside on that side of the job.
Actually, does anybody want to come help me?
Oh, yeah.
Literally anyone who is taller than me?
I'll go.
Okay. Alright.
Just finishes her cup of coffee.
Alright. We'll be right back.
Okay. So the two of you go while the other
Yeah,
two are eating.
We don't need to, move our tokens or anything.
Yeah.
Oh, I made Hemlock his own little plate.
Oh, okay. Hemlock is consuming everything.
He just has a little hemlock-sized toast and egg.
Yeah. As you're walking out, Hemlock looks up with a tiny piece of bread in his mouth as well.
Oh, we'll be right back, Hemlock. You can keep eating.
Continues eating instantly.
Oh, that's my familia. So I'm just walking out.
Right.
Alright.
I appreciate his mask. It's very cute.
A lot has happened. So much has happened in the past month. So yeah, I'll pull down the stairs and let her go up.
Alright. I'm going up.
Okay. So the two of you are out there doing that. Hemlock is eating. So as you're leaving behind Johnny and Derek with your uncle, Derek is kind of awkwardly sitting there, and Johnny is just looking back and forth between the two of them and just saying, "This is a nice shop."
Johnny, please.
And, like, that's the last thing that you hear as they're wandering out. Like, Derek doesn't really know what to say at this point, and Johnny is filling space with, like, well-meaning but not constructive statements as everyone's just eating. So awkwardness ensues for all of them. But yeah, so over at the... So you're just going upstairs in the guest house now?
Sure.
Yeah, so stepping upstairs in here, like, you looked around it a bit before, if I recall correctly.
Mm-hmm.
And things are very much where they were left, with the exception of two of the beds are there. One of them is perfectly well made and, you know, well taken care of and tucked in and all of that stuff. And the other one is a pile of yesterday's clothes, and that does in fact include a Penelope shirt. You don't have to roll investigation because it's right there.
All right, she's just gonna take it.
Okay.
Like, that was too easy. I'm a little suspicious, but yep, dare fulfilled. Let's go.
I mean, do you want to keep it, or?
I don't know what I'm supposed to be doing with this after the dare.
I mean, the dad just said you had to steal it.
Yep.
Okay, so you're grabbing it off the bed?
Yep.
Okay.
I'm not keeping it. I don't want it. Do you know how awkward it is to own a piece of clothing that has your own face on it?
I can't
It's
say.
really awkward.
Oh, I believe you.
So I'm not gonna keep this.
I mean,
I'm just gonna go.
I'm here as witness that you did it. You stole it.
Yep.
Okay.
Do you want to do you want to let him keep it, or do you want to get rid of it?
I'm gonna. It is kind of funny. I'm gonna go show it to Johnny and Derek as evidence that I have fulfilled the dare.
All right. Okay.
And then I'll come and put it back.
All right.
Okay.
Because I don't need it.
I mean, we can just leave the stairs down.
Yeah.
Okay. So Penelope, give me a dexterity saving throw.
Oh no! I'm up there, but I'm not like at the bed. I'm like basically right above the stairs.
Yep.
Okay, so 20 plus. Okay. 22.
Nice. Okay, so as you pull the Penelope shirt off of the bed, you see the bed shift very slightly with the weight difference. You look down and you notice that under the bed, under specifically Buck's bed, there's a very slight spring plate that's been set in place. And upon that, you look up and you see a bucket hanging above it filled with something. You step aside as water pours right where you were. And you can see on the inside of the bucket, written and painted in the bottom of the bucket, is "Leave my shit alone, beach." But you've successfully dodged it.
I almost died.
Anise will just go over and be like, "Oh, no, that makes sense. That explains. Yeah, that makes sense. Sorry. If I'd known, I would have obviously warned you."
I'm trying to remember who gave me the dare in the first place.
Derek. I think.
I think Johnny gave you the dare.
Maybe.
If I'm remembering correctly, I think Johnny dared you to go
It was
steal
one
the
of
shirt.
the two of them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gonna go show them this shirt. Just prove that I did it. And we're never gonna speak of this again. Go back downstairs.
Okay.
I'll follow.
Yep, you've no trouble getting out.
And then I'm gonna go back into the kitchen. Are they just still?
Yeah, they're still eating. Like, this only took like a minute, so.
Is it just awkwardly silent now?
As you come back in, you can hear Johnny going on a little bit about how, yeah, it's true. Like, sometimes they just get really intimidated by the idea of a tiefling lawyer. One of my cousins decided to go to law school, and he had to go through a whole thing about it. He was really good at it, but they just never gave him full credit on account of they thought it was some special. Like, he worked really hard. Anyway, you didn't ask about any of that. I just get awkward when it's quiet.
Hi, Johnny.
We're
Oh,
back.
hi.
We're back. And she just like kind of doesn't doesn't want to like display the whole shirt because it's
You're
embarrassing.
showing that you got it?
But she's just showing like, I got it.
The prophecy has been fulfilled.
Okay, so, let's see, what's it called on this one? It's not sense motive anymore, it's...
Perception?
No, it's...
Insight.
Insight. Insight's what they call it in 5e. Going back and forth between Pathfinder and 5e is starting to mess with my brain now. Yeah, give me an insight check.
17.
Okay, you notice that when you hold up the shirt, Johnny just sort of goes, she just makes a little face, as in, like, she thought she had you, or something.
Penelope just sticks her tongue out at Johnny, like,
Well, I guess I almost beat you in a form of contest.
that wouldn't have been fair.
All's fair in truth and dare.
You know, you're not wrong. But anyway, I got
Had
it.
you forgotten to do this, it would have counted.
Wow.
Wow. Ooh. Ooh, that's sneaky.
It was a contest where you both had rules, and she did everything that was asked of her, dared of her.
Penelope's just gonna, like, narrow her eyes at Johnny and be like, on that note,
Anise just pours herself another cup of coffee and gets some more food.
you wouldn't believe the shit I had to endure for this, but I'm gonna go put it back now. And she's just gonna go back upstairs and put the shirt back.
Yep.
She's actually a little, like, peeved right now. She's just gonna come back and just sit back at the table and just be, like, crossing her arms and just kind of, like, that, like, kind of, like, not actually angry pout.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And about this point in time, I think people are wrapping up their plates of food.
So what are we doing today?
So we need to go talk to Fletcher and, see what's going on with his basement.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted to make a lot of potions so that inevitably whenever I leave here again, there's things to sell.
Yeah.
Other than that, I don't really know. Can't go to Clock Tower until tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. I can text Vivi and see what she's up to today. I know
That is
she
true.
just had to do papers yesterday, but I'll send her a text and be like, hey, what are you up to today?
Okay.
Send.
We could try getting into contact with, why am I forgetting his name? Bone Settler.
Like Crosby?
Crosby.
Yeah.
Could try and get in contact with Crosby, see if
See if he's here.
if he can help us at all.
I'll send a text to Crosby too. I'll be like, hey, are you in London?
Yeah. It might be a little bit before you get replies to your 7 a.m. on Sunday text, but yeah. But you have sent messages.
Yay!
Hurrah.
Fletcher always seemed to be more of a sunrise to sunset type of person, so we should probably go early in the day.
Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna go get dressed.
Dun-dun-dun.
Da-da-da-da.
Okay.
Should I get in disguise?
I mean, you're kind of in the place where phantasmals are walking around a bit more openly right now, so
fuck it,
it's up
I'm
to
not
you.
getting in disguise.
Mm-hmm.
I don't.
If anything, being spotted here and then trying to pass for human later might make your life harder.
That's true.
So.
Yeah, I mean,
Well,
maybe once the shop is open, that's why I said to Johnny, like, maybe, do the makeup when the shop is open in case the humans or Clock Tower people come in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
so should I get in disguise then?
You don't have to.
Okay. Alright, I'm not gonna.
All right. So in that case, are you gonna do anything else, or are you gonna go visit Fletcher, or
Guess we can
Okay.
go ahead and visit Fletcher.
are you go with the spells that you prepped yesterday?
I changed them around a little bit, but I
Okay.
did go ahead and prep spells.
Okay.
That's how I knew I accidentally rolled perception for Hemlock, because I went to actions and I'm like, why don't I have any of my, And
Right.
Because that's Hemlock's character sheet.
Yeah, Anice's character sheet's got like 6 miles of abilities due to the how prepared spellcasting works. And all of the
forms.
variations of animal form.
Yep.
Yeah, Vivi's sheet is a mess too because it has everything you can polymorph someone into on it.
Oof.
Which is a lot harder because she has an NPC sheet, so like
Why would you want anything other than cow?
it's very long. There's a reason cow is bookmarked, and it's not because I don't want to have to look up between all of them.
Before we head out, Anise, do you have like a little bowl and some water I could take
Oh.
with me?
Absolutely. And she just kind of pulls one out of the kitchen.
Honestly, I just need to like invest in a fancy tiny bowl if this keeps happening, because.
And like, I don't know, hands her a bottle of water, bottle with water in it. It's probably like a glass bottle
Alright, cool. Just shoving it in my bag.
with a cork.
I just wanted to make the cork noise. Just to like.
Are you going to make an express call to the other side?
I'm gonna try.
That makes sense.
And
We'll know if it works
Yeah.
with two of them. We'll know.
we'll know it's a portal if it does work.
Yeah.
Or at
Okay.
least it's close enough.
Cool.
That and I can be like, sorry, I literally dropped the connection. Might be. Hopefully she's not too mad about it.
I mean, she did send a monster in at you by accident, so you know.
Yeah, yeah. But
Okay,
anyway,
so
I'm
you're
good
gonna
to go.
head over. All right.
Running.
Making our way
Making our way downtown.
somewhere.
Looking for the furbolg.
So weird that this doesn't seem to align with where it thinks I'm clicking. Doesn't matter. I'm just gonna close some things. Or try to close some things. I don't know what this game does anymore. Oh, if I click under it, it works.
Huh. That's weird.
That's why I was opening the combat tracker before. So if I click here, does that open the calendar? Yeah, it
Yay!
Wow.
Okay, well now that I know what it is, I can work with that. Just have to compensate in my brain. Cool. Yeah, alright. Okay, so it's not far because like on the street, as mentioned, you live very close to the Furbolg. You're actually on the same side of the street because, not shockingly, the druids in the area knew exactly where to build if they wanted to set up on the ley line as close as possible.
Yep.
So let's show you a dude. So this is a generic Furbolg, but it's actually a pretty decent rendition of him as well. So there's a Furbolg.
Hey.
It even says Furbolg.
It sure does. Okay, we're gonna see how well the microphone picks me up as I try to read at a weird angle. So yeah, like Fletcher's his shop / house stands out a little bit even among the weirdness of this street because unlike the ones that you're in with your shop, which is like, you know, a lot of stone, a lot of old architecture, whatever, his house is made of wood. Everything there is made of wood, but as mentioned, kind of feels like the wood just wanted to grow that way. It's not smooth surfaces at all. It feels very much like to use a pop culture reference, think about Fern Gully.
Mm-hmm.
Like the tree where everyone lives inside of it and it just grew around what it needed to do. It's like that.
Yeah, yeah.
So it's this very, very obvious thing when you see it on the street. And to credit, you can actually see him standing around outside in the morning sun, just casually breathing in the admittedly polluted but somewhat nicer in this part of town air. And he can see the 4 of you, 5 with Hemlock. I'm assuming Hemlock's coming with.
Hemlock's along, yeah.
Yeah. He sees the 5 of you walking on the street. So I'm going to give you his full description. You can tell even from a distance that he's very tall, but if either of you have seen other Furbolg before, he's not that tall for a Furbolg. He's a little over 7 feet, because we're going to use those measurements rather than be going to centimeters. So he's a little over 7 feet tall. He's kind of hefty. Like, he's not as big as those Goliaths that you spent some time with, but he's still pretty big. His clothing is pretty interesting because he's wearing a very Ren Fair looking tunic, so to speak. Like, he's not at all trying to pass for modern world, and he doesn't have to. He's wearing a big tunic with a lot of pockets, like all over, like not like a unified belt, but just like
Just a bunch of pockets.
weird Rob Liefeld amounts of pockets and pouches everywhere. And also, you'll notice just as you get closer to him, there is no metal on him whatsoever. He is very traditional druid like that. You can see little things that would normally be metal, like, you know, earrings and whatnot, are made of wood that seems to have just grown into loops. His big belt buckle is, you know, wood. Even his shoes are actually, they kind of resemble a mossy bark rather than even leather. And little vines have grown all around them to create intricate laces and almost rope-like ties. So in general, he is blatantly out of place in modern London, but he seems to fit right in here. And he can see you walking down the street. And you can also, as you're going, you passed by Buck, who at this point is very much exasperated by his side of the street, but he's trying not to show it. And you also get the impression from the house that he's at right now, which Anise would know, that this house has a half-elven family, and that they absolutely have a daughter, and that the person that he's talking to is absolutely that daughter's mother, and she looks like she wants to hurt him.
Oh.
Like, his reputation is known. He's not very subtle about it. But yeah, so you get to Fletcher, and Fletcher turns and he sees Anise walking up, and he's got a big happy smile on his face. Like, he looks pretty chill. Hi, Anise. It's good to see you again.
Good morning, Fletcher.
I trust you're having a wonderful day.
So far?
That's good. I'm enjoying the sunlight while we've got it. It gets cloudy usually, but today seems nice.
Yeah, it is. So I'll wait till we're a little bit closer, lower my voice. Like, we heard about your, the thing in your basement.
Yeah, that's weird.
It is.
I don't really understand it. I asked the plants and they don't know what it is either.
We might be able to shed a little bit of light on it. I've encountered something else like it before. Do you mind if we take a peek?
Oh, by all means. Let's welcome into my home. And
Good.
so, yeah, he walks up, and rather than knocking on the door, you see as he reaches forward, it just sort of swings open on its own accord. And stepping inside, it's an interesting place because you've seen the bioluminescent fungus and things like that before. He has little bits of that growing all throughout, so the inside is actually very well lit. But it's lit in like a little bit of a rainbow of colors in its own weird way. But as you go inside, you can see, again, everything inside was grown where it is. You don't get the impression you could pick up and move any chair. Everything is where it needs to be. It's very simple, but it's kind of cozy. As Derek is walking in, he's looking all around, and he's just like, this is so cool.
Yes. It's been quite some time since I've been in here, but nothing's changed.
That makes sense. I get the impression that it's probably not the easiest place to redecorate.
I like the lights. They're really cool. There's a lot of trees.
Yes, indeed. Oh, I finally learned how to speak to plants, so maybe now I'll be able to do something like this too.
Oh, congratulations. They're very nice to talk to as long
really
as
are.
you're willing to listen.
They really are. They're very good at gossip too.
Yeah, that they do. If you're ever really wondering what's going on, just ask the shrubs. People seem to think they can get away with things when only the plants are around just because they don't have ears and eyes. But they know what's going on.
They know.
They know way more than people realize.
Suddenly distrust the shrubbery.
But it's good that you can talk to them. I'm sure they'll appreciate having someone else to chat with.
I hope so.
Sometimes the people from Clock Tower wander by and try to talk to them, and they cast their spells. But the plants don't want to talk to them, so they don't, and I get the impression that the Clock Tower people think they're just bad at it. And that's pretty funny.
That is funny. We should let them continue to think that.
It's probably for the best. I'm sure they're going to ask stupid questions.
Yeah.
And as he tells you about this, he takes you over to the area in his home that sort of wraps around in like a natural spiral. It's not like a proper staircase so much as series of interlocking routes that you can easily step down.
Mm-hmm.
I say easily, like you have to put a little bit of energy in to not trip yourself, but it's not like, oh my god, I'm going to trip if I'm vaguely paying attention. And it's so well lit. Also, all four of you notice pretty easily that the oxygen in here is amazing.
Mm-hmm.
There's like no pollution has gotten into this place. The plants seem to be naturally filtering it all out.
Mm-hmm.
So him stepping outside to taking in the fresh air was probably just him being polite.
Probably.
One thing that is noteworthy though is that while you have all the bioluminescence in here, there are actually little cracks in it that allow in natural sunlight as well.
Mm-hmm.
So it's kind of nice. It's not nearly as humid as you would expect.
Mm-hmm.
So it seems like the entire thing is grown in a sustainable way that would probably make hippies super excited until they realize there's nothing to plug into.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, so you make your way down into his basement, and his basement, similar to the rest of the place, is entirely wood, although you'll notice that the floor is soil. It's not like stone or anything like that, but it's a very nice, like, packed soil. You'll also notice everywhere that he steps, inside of his house, outside of his house, everywhere, he's leaving footprints with soil. It seems to just be what happens when he walks in places, even if presumably he wouldn't be picking up a lot of soil in his, wooden floors. It just seems to be a trait of him. So that's neat. And so you get down in the basement, and inside the basement, it's not the biggest room ever. I mean, you're still in, London buildings.
Mm-hmm.
But it's an okay size. It's a rectangular room. It's the closest thing to traditional architecture that you've seen. You get the impression that the plants are taking up the space that they could get to, but the nature of like the underground in London means it can't just go as wide as it likely wants. Mm-hmm. So it's more rectangular and traditional room-like. And inside of this room, you can see it's a workbench, but unlike a normal woodworking bench where there's a bunch of tools and whatnot all over the place, this bench actually just has a bunch of pots sitting out on it with various plants, like exotic and, domestic, lots of little trees sticking out of them, tons of jars containing water and things like that as well nearby, like, potted soil, all of those things. But aside from the workbench, the entire walls of the room and a lot of the floor is just covered with stuff that he's made or grown specifically. And Anise would know that he makes things, but he won't give them to people for money. Like, the thing has to want to go to them. Mm-hmm. And since he's constantly growing things, that means this room has all kinds of stuff that hasn't found an owner yet. You can see what look like, wizard staves spread throughout. You can see, like, little wooden clog shoes. You can see various bits of clothing. There's one thing that looks like a suit of armor, but it's made out of like walnut. It's quirky stuff. You're not sure all of it would necessarily be effective, but it seems to be what the plants wanted to grow into, so he's got it and he's just hanging on to it until they find an owner. So in a lot of ways you are walking through someone's crowded basement, but there's still a great deal of open space. It's just everything along the walls is covered in stuff like that. And to credit, at the far end of the room, you can see, similar to before, a bit of a sphere that's floating up in the air above an open spot. Unlike the last place, there are not a whole bunch of magic circles or anything drawing it. It's just sitting right there. Mm-hmm. And looking into it from here, unlike the previous one, which you saw like reflection or like light coming through that implied it was like, a foresty thing during the day. Mm-hmm. Looking through this one, you can see about half of it is very dark and black, and the other half looks like little sparkles of light, like you're maybe looking at nighttime. little stars, something that kind of looks like a moon, but it's hard to tell because it's warped through a sphere, but it's much brighter than the rest of it. And it's just casually sitting at the other end of the room.
Huh.
Oh.
Yeah, that thing's kind of strange. At night it gets really bright, but during the day it seems to go dark.
Well, do you want to do a test to see if it's what we think it is?
Yeah. She's gonna go walk up close to it.
Okay.
This is probably a portal to the other side of the world, you know, the domain of fairies and dragons and all that.
Well, that's interesting.
She knows someone, and she might be able to contact them through the portal, and if she can, we'll know for sure that it actually is.
Okay. That sounds like a reasonable thing to do with this strange marvel that has appeared in my basement. Could you ask them if they could move it?
I mean, I don't know that they can,
Okay.
We'll see what we can do.
but yeah.
We don't know how to close them. We're trying to figure that out.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I'll let you get to work then. Tell you what, if you need any help, I'm gonna go back upstairs because your uncle mentioned that I should probably go stick around near the door in case anyone comes by for a bit.
Yeah, there's some
So-
clock tower people that might be stopping
So-
around the neighborhood and, you know, poking around where they don't belong.
So if you need any help, just ask this little fellow. And he walks over to the side and he pulls out this wooden doll and he just sets it up there. And the doll, like as he sets it down, he pats it on the back a little bit and you can see a slight glow in it. So like in the wood, you can see the grain of the wood and it looks like something flows across it. Very, very subtle. It's like a little shimmer. It kind of reminds you of that very faint shimmer that you saw on the special items back in the Lupin collection. And when he does that, the small wooden doll sort of leans up and it looks up at him. And like it doesn't really have a painted face or anything, but the knots and whatnot on it give it a vaguely humanoid face. And you can see that the head itself is made of a large single piece, with the exception of the area around the jaw, which seems to be a separate piece of wood that moves up and down to give the illusion of, you know, speaking. It doesn't make any noises beyond like a slight little clack, 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 clack. And then he goes, "That's a good one." And then he sets it there and he walks away and it just sort of sits there and it stares at the lot of you and it doesn't do anything.
Anise will just kind of wave at it.
It waves back.
Alright. Well,
A little weird, but alright, cool. Alright. Just gonna walk up closer to the bubble.
Okay.
Does anything happen when she gets close to the bubble?
Nothing is happening as you get closer to the bubble, except that you can see inside of it a little bit better. If you want to try to get a feel for what's going on, you can do a perception check.
Anise is also
I
gonna
would like to do a
wander
perception
over
check.
and do that perception check.
Okay. You are both welcome to.
20. Dirty 20, but 20.
Nice.
10.
Okay. Penelope's having a little bit of trouble with it because it's so dark on the other side of it. Anice's eyes are handling it a little bit better because like you're getting the impression you are looking into like a nighttime reflection. So unlike the last one of these that you found, which seemed to correspond roughly to the same time of day, this seems to be going to a part of the reverse side of the world that's having nighttime right now. It stands to reason that not all of the reverse side of the world is actually experiencing the same time of day at once.
Yeah.
It's a weird place that follows different rules. But Anise, looking inside of it, can also see movement. Like something is moving around on the other side of that. Small, yellowy reflections of light. It's actually the light that's coming out of the room that you're in here, going through and bouncing back slightly. So you don't really know what it is, but you see something over there is sparkly.
What do you see?
I think I see something moving, but I'm not sure. We'll wanna be on our guard in case more methods come through, I guess.
Yeah.
Or something else.
Yeah. Okay, well,
I think it's nighttime wherever that is.
yeah, that's what I'm thinking too. I guess just keep an eye out while I'm doing this.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Okay. She gets out the bowl.
Okay.
And pours some water in it. And starts doing...
Okay. So for doing your ritual on this one, you're going to have to do an Arcana check.
Okay. Where's my dice? There it is. That's a 12.
A 12. Okay. So what are you saying as you do your ritual? Because like you have to make some kind of calling out step to like signify that you're trying to reach someone.
Mm-hmm.
And are you just going to follow like the exact word-to-word ritual that you normally use when you summon the Lady of the Lake?
Yeah.
Okay. That's fine then. Yeah, it usually involves calling out to a teacher, and I think you've always known what her name was, right? Or did you learn that in Germany?
I learned that in Germany.
Okay, then yeah, it doesn't actually have her name in it. It's just referring to her like by title. And so as you're going through that, you do feel like there's a message and there's a connection. Like now that you know the spell sending, this actually feels a little more like you're understanding more of what you were doing before. Because you are establishing a connection with another place and then communicating. But unlike sending where you're sending words, this is more just establishing that place and this place in relation to each other a little bit closer. And as you're going through this and you're establishing your connection through it, now you can see the little yellow dots moving around too. And before you can finish your ritual, the yellow dots stop moving.
Uh-oh.
And they seem to multiply.
Oh,
so,
no.
And Anise will be able to see this too, so I'll repeat that. So as Penelope's going through her little ritual to speak to the other side, the yellow dots that were floating around a bit casually before that you could see stop, and then more and more of them start appearing. And you would wager there's at least a dozen of these dots in there. But you're noticing now that you're a bit closer to it for doing your ritual that they seem to be in pairs.
Oh no.
And so before you can finish fully reaching out to the Lady of the Lake, the yellow dots line up into 3 pairs of pairs, so to speak. So a 2, a 2, a 2, a 2, and a 2 and a 2.
Yeah.
In rows. And they look like they're getting bigger, as if they were getting closer to where you're at right now.
Oh god, okay. I think I need to stop. She's just gonna stop in the middle of doing this.
They are still getting bigger and presumably closer to whatever this is.
Shit. So I assume that she's also kind of like stirring the water a little bit as she's like, as part of her incantation. And she's just gonna have like a moment where she's like, okay, I need to stop this because I don't think this is safe. So she like starts kind of swirling the water in the opposite direction.
Swirling it the other way?
Yeah.
Okay.
She's like, I have no idea how to stop this. Okay.
Yeah, you can do another Arcana check to try to reverse that as necessary.
Yeah. Penelope, please. 7.
Okay. So you're frantically swirling the water in one direction, and then you see something's going wrong. You see the dots getting bigger and closer. So you start swirling it the other way, and all that's really happening is the water is just splashing all over the place out of the bowl as you're frantically doing this. And before you know it, the front 2 and each of the rows of yellow dots start to take more shape around them. You start to see outlines around them. And in fact, you've seen this kind of shape before.
Oh no.
And what you see is actually rodent-like.
Oh no.
They look like rats.
Oh no.
And in fact, where you're standing in front of the portal, you get the impression you should probably back up.
Yep, that's what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna
Okay.
back up. I'm still holding the bowl, but I'm backing up.
That's fair.
Nope.
That you can successfully back up, like you and your friends can all do a thing as you see something starting to come through. And the souls So this is not a perfect map, but it does a good enough job of showing how it works. Ooh. And I'm going to drag people onto it. And yep. I think that's all of you on that map. I trust you can see that on your screen?
Yes.
The time for Snake has arrived.
Time for Snake.
Oh, Snake.
Okay, and I'm just going to give you an extra image for this thing.
So from what I could hear, we've got some fairy rats coming through.
Or something. Let's... the lagging is making this so much harder. I don't know why this is harder when it's not running over the internet.
That's weird.
That one will work. Sure. So that'll just be the orb thing that you're looking at. It's not a perfect rendition, but you get the idea.
Yeah.
And so Penelope, you said you were backing up?
Yep. Yeah, I guess I'm backing up to about where Johnny is.
Okay. And Johnny will back up to your room.
Oh, well, I can't.
Oh, are you locked? Hold on.
I'm stuck.
There you go.
Okay. Yeah.
And some things are gonna walk through. Know if it's gonna do all this correctly. Let's find out. Okay, so let's give you two things popping out of the thing. And that'll work. So you can see these things are clearly coming through. If anyone wants to do anything while they're coming through, you can. Otherwise, I will move on.
I got nothing.
Okay.
I will prepare an action, maybe?
You
Prepare
can.
a spell. What can I do? What can I do in this basement?
I mean, it is made of wood. Contrary to the stuff on the map, as I mentioned, you're actually standing on soil, and the walls around you are all wood, and each of those torches are actually just particularly bright bits of fungus.
Yeah, I got nothing. Without knowing what we're actually fighting, I don't have quite anything I can do right now.
You know what? I take it back. I'm gonna go ahead and cast Comprehend Languages.
Okay. You may do so.
Woo! I'll bark skin. Why not?
Okay. And we're just going to ignore Vivi on the combat tracker because she is not here. Now that I know how this thing works, I will let the combat tracker do its job.
armor class is effectively 16 for now.
Nice.
Which is good because it was 12.
Ooh.
Okay, so. So you cast your work scan, you cast comprehend languages. Johnny and Derek are just sort of looking to the two of you, and Derek's going, are we going to fight what comes through there? Or are we going to be diplomatic?
We need diplomacy first, and then if we can't, then they have to fight, I think. Or
Okay.
put them back, one or the other.
Yeah.
Just like we did with the big tree man.
I guess while they're waiting for stuff to come through, she's also gonna like put the water back in the bottle, and then
Sure, you can put that away.
Put stuff away. Just like, nope, not gonna lose this.
No
this
problem.
Time.
Johnny is gonna take one step up on the little stairs thing, and she's just gonna say, "I'll make sure nothing gets through."
All right.
So she's just gonna move slightly back onto that. She can still see everything from there at least. Okay, and so having done that, yep. So these things start to
Oh
appear.
God.
And yeah, so these two step out, and so these guys, they definitely look like rats, but unlike normal rats, first of all, they're the size of medium creatures. They're very big. They're bigger than Penelope. They are walking on their back legs, and they are wearing what you could best describe as really old, I say really old, like maybe 100 years ago old armor from, you would have to wager, maybe like Eastern European armor. Maybe Russian armor. Like, it's very modern, it's very military looking, and they just sort of walk through, and as they do, you can hear some music in the background, but you're having trouble identifying it exactly. It's just a tune that's floating in there. And they walk out, and each one of them comes out, and they're holding a sword. And these swords look like they're made of wood. And upon seeing the lot of you there, these two simply march forward. So they're each going to take a step forward. Or, I guess, a 5-foot step forward, but they're not attacking anyone yet. So they're going to both walk forward. And you can see behind them 2 more pairs of eyes are about to walk out. So, we're not in initiative yet, but what would you like to do?
Do they look like they're experiencing the effects, like how that apple that came through started like deteriorating immediately?
Deteriorating immediately? So as they step through and move forward a little bit, they themselves look okay, but their weird armor is already starting to have like a slight sizzling on it.
I don't... Comprehend language is the only understanding languages, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Tongues is what lets you speak it back to them.
I will cast Speak with Animals. Wanted to make sure they were actually animals before I cast it.
Okay, so as you're doing that, the first 2 that walk forward say in words that right now, like while you're casting that, you don't understand, but because Penelope already cast Comprehend Language, she does. She can hear them speaking out to you. Bow, peasants, for you're in the presence of royalty.
She's just gonna hold up a hand like, hold on. Just hold on. They said that we're in the presence of royalty and we should be bowing? They also called us peasants, which isn't very nice. But, I don't know how to tell them that I need them to hold on a second.
I'm working on it.
Yeah.
2 more of them step through.
just like gonna hold both hands up, like, hold on, guys. Just, I don't know if you can understand me, but I need you guys to just hold on 2 seconds. Anything?
Roll persuasion with disadvantage because you're doing this entirely with body language.
Meanwhile, I'm still casting?
Yeah.
Is it persuasion?
Yeah.
16.
16 with disadvantage.
Yeah.
You can bard it up.
Yeah.
So, okay, so you finish your casting so that you can now see with animals, which means that you can understand them as well. Like, they do count as animals for the purposes of this.
Good.
They're in that weird spot where both spells actually affect them for reasons that may or may not make sense later. So as the next two come in, the first two see Penelope's, non-threatening gestures, and they sort of, like, they're not attacking you, but they seem to be very confused by this. It's like, you're about to be in the presence of royalty. I strongly suggest you bow.
Hold on a second, gentlemen. First of all, do you know where you are?
We are marching in the presence of our king.
You are very far away from your homes right now. You know what? Okay, let's just all bow.
And now there are 6 of them.
Like, can you ask them if we bow, if they'll just... I don't want to bow.
Let us speak to your king. We will bow when we see your king.
Okay, you can roll persuasion, but they understand you, so you don't have to roll it with disadvantage.
Meanwhile, they're just hearing me going like...
Yeah, you're very much, like, Derek is watching the both of you through all of this.
That's a 12.
Okay.
Well, it's like, I can understand her, but I can't speak this.
Correct.
So
you can understand, like, that direction, and all this. Derek is like, should I back up? Like, they're getting really crowded in here.
Yeah, Derek, you might want to back up just a smidge.
Okay. So Derek is going to very, very carefully, hands up,
I was gonna say, yeah,
backing away to give a little more space for the diplomacy. And as he does so, the first rat moves forward, and they sort of shuffle, and you see them actually shuffling and forming space. This one backs up. The one that's been talking to Penelope originally has stepped down to talk to Anise, because Anise is now communicating. And so that one says back to you, "The king will not speak with you. You should bow." Like, you're getting the sense from just this thing that, like, it's trying to help you, but...
Oh, okay, here, and I'll just kind of, like, shuffle places with Penelope.
Yeah. Oh god, am I stuck again?
Oh.
Nope, no. Oh, I just faced through the wall. It's fine.
As you do.
Alright. As long as you aren't going to harm us, and I'll just kind of bow, like, not, full on the ground groveling, but I'll just, like, bend at the waist a little.
Okay. And as you do that, 1/7 rat mouse type person steps through, and this one is regal as hell. Like, we're talking shiny crown on his head, wearing similar armor to the rest of them, but it's much fancier and classier, and he has a wooden sword on his side too. And when he steps through, he sees all of this stuff, and he sees Anise is bowing politely. Is Penelope bowing?
Sure. Once this guy steps through, sure.
Okay.
But she's like, I'm not gonna do that until I see a damn reason to at this point.
Okay, so Derek.
But it's not even like a bow. It's just like a little head nod. Like.
Okay. Which, admittedly, because you're shorter than them, might look like a bow. Because these rats are like over 5 feet tall. And so each of those are going on, and Derek is in the back. He's reading the room on this one pretty well. So he's just sort of like getting low, but you can both see that he's not bowing so much as getting ready to spring if he needs to do something. Mm-hmm. And Johnny is in the back, and that nice little doll that you saw was left before is now in that little spot between Johnny and Derek behind Anise. And it's just sort of sitting there staring forward at this rat. No one's told it to do anything.
What's Johnny doing?
Johnny is still on the stairs, and she's sort of bending her knees. But, like, again, it's not a real bow so much as just she's on the stairs, and she's crouching down to make sure that she can see.
Yeah.
No. I'm not. For once, I'm not gonna let the dice determine. I'm like, no. I'll just like, hail and well met, sir.
The king walks forward, and you can already see the effects of the world starting to eat away at some of these creatures. Mm-hmm. Like, the creatures themselves, again, are fine, but their armor and their accessories seem to be the first things to fizzle away. Even, like, the little tips of the points of his crown are starting to, like, crinkle up a little bit. Like, it's still very shiny and, you know, golden, but it's starting to lose its luster almost immediately. And the rat walks forward, and he looks at Anise, who is taller than him, but you're bowing, which is helpful.
I bow enough that I'm like eye level with him at least.
And he says to you, what do you bring the Rat King?
I bring you knowledge of exactly where you've ended up, which is somewhere that you definitely do not need to be, my liege.
Okay, so let's go ahead and roll a persuasion to see how the tone of that's taken.
Oh dear.
Because you're not doing this in your native language, but you are using spells.
Persuasion, okay. Oh, okay. The dice just decided to eat itself.
Can I give her inspiration?
How are you going to give her inspiration in the presence of this?
I'll just kind of put one, like, hand out on her arm and be like, you've got this. Don't mess it up. Okay.
You may physically give her the inspiration die on her little viola that the people at home can't see.
So I rolled a 15.
Okay. You may add this if you wish.
Yeah, I will. Well.
That's a good jump.
That was a 6.
Okay, so 21?
There you go.
Okay.
Thanks.
So, tell me of this land and its people, and if they will properly bend the knee to the Rat King.
I hate to tell you this, but they definitely won't. First of all, there is no mana on this side of the world where you found yourself. So you won't live long here, and while you do, you will suffer immensely. Second of all of the people that live here look more like us, and the creatures that look more like you are regarded as pests here, so I don't think anyone will treat you very kindly.
They would not respect our rule?
Absolutely not. I, of course, respect you greatly, but I really think it would be in your best interest to go back through that portal to where you came from.
And with this, you can see like all of the other rats just sort of looking amongst themselves at all of this.
All you need to do is look at your vestments and your armor and notice that it's starting to disintegrate.
Okay, so they're going to start looking at their gear and seeing as this is playing out. And as their armor is sizzling away, you can hear that music in the background, and it's getting a little bit louder. It seems like once the king of the rats stepped through, it started picking up a bit. And
can I roll to see if I recognize the music?
you can roll history.
Roll in history. It's intelligence history. Alright, please don't screw me over, dice.
It's one of those things where I would play the music, but I think the players would get it, and so I don't want to just give it away.
I don't know where that dice just went, so.
It's over here.
It's lost to the void now.
There you
I
go.
rolled, it's an 8 plus 3, so that's an 11.
Okay. That's actually all it would really take, is as a bard, you would absolutely know this music. So I'm going to start playing it.
Oh, good!
Yeah. We're going to use music for a change. Let's see how well that works out in practice. No idea if this will get picked up by the speakers properly or not.
Less of a chance of a copyright strike or something.
We'll add it in post.
Yeah. Actually, I could probably do this easier with the smart speaker now that I think about it. What are you called properly? Yeah, that'll work.
So like, it's not bad. It's just more of an uncomfortableness. Like, I might. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think I've just been sitting too much lately. On account of the deadly sickness. Maybe I can just like.
Oh wow, the sound is actually just being picked up on headphones.
You
That's
may-
funnier.
Oh, I was about to say you may smack it, but once. Right there?
Keep going. Sorry, it fucking tickled.
This is funny because people can't see you and don't have any idea what you're doing. Okay, I'm going to see if the smart speaker can do this.
Okay.
Alexa, play The Rat King Appears.
The Moonlight Child by Karen McQuestion.
That's not it.
That's not... Alexa, stop. You're going to destroy us all. Okay, I'm just going to tell you. It is absolutely the music that plays when the Rat King appears in the Nutcracker Suite. And so Penelope identifies what's going on pretty cleanly.
Oh, jeez.
And by extension, Penelope understands a bit more about like who they've encountered and how the reverse side of the world being the place where the dreams and mysteries of mankind and whatnot can sometimes manifest in weird ways. And so, in a manner similar to heroic spirits, you've just encountered a manifestation of the antagonist of the Nutcracker Suite.
Oh no, I just figured out what the doll is now. Fuck. Okay.
But okay, so as the Rat King and his troops are reviewing their hissing away armor, they're starting to get anxious. And the Rat King shouts out to them, "The wizards of this land have attacked us.
No, I promise you it's not like that.
We're under assault."
We are not doing anything. It's just the nature of this side of the world.
So they're starting to scramble, and now we're going to have them do some rolls. That is not a good roll for them. Okay. So yeah, they're panicking. They're like the rats are starting to stumble amongst one another to get back toward the portal, but because the Rat King is in the way of the portal, he pulls out his sword and he just points forward at the lot of you. And so he commands them to march forward, and we'll find the evil wizard that's doing this.
I promise you it's not an evil wizard. It's how things work over here. If we followed you back through that portal, the same thing would happen to us. I think.
The rat in front of Penelope is now going to swing a sword at you. However, Penelope, we're going to do something weird and different.
Okay.
Give me a performance check.
Okay. 23.
Okay, so the sword is swinging at you, but it's not an attack swing. It's like stage choreography when you're actually in a play or a musical. And between that and figuring out what was going on there, they're playing out what happens in the play with you.
Oh,
And
shit.
you can very easily sidestep this with no effort, and it will never hit you.
Okay, yeah, I'm just gonna... Yeah.
You're just going to dance around it?
Yep.
Okay, Penelope dances around it, and the rat, in a silly and exaggerated way, dives past her and gets stuck under the staircase that Johnny is currently on. And the other ones bumble around like buffoons accordingly. And Penelope has seen this play before. She knows how this goes.
Anise has seen this play. Kim has not seen this play in a very long time.
Sure.
Yeah, I was
So-
gonna say, I'm currently trying to remember what happens.
Yeah.
Because the last time I had anything to do with this ballet, I had to help the rats get dressed, so
Well,
I don't remember.
Then this is a different thing.
Totally different.
So yeah, they're starting to bumble around, and Derek looks like he's about to beat the shit out of one of these rats because they started, attacking people. But because Anise picked up on what was just happening with Penelope just being right there, she's seeing another one swing at her, and since she's carrying her staff around, she's very easily sidestepping it. You don't have to do a performance check because they're playing off of you.
Mm.
They're just going through the motions. Like, these rats are not meant to actually attack people.
Mm.
They're not allowed to hit. So they're starting to stumble around you, and Derek is like about to kick the shit out of one of them in real life. Should either of you wish to do anything? We're not an initiative. This is just roleplay.
Anise is tired of this. How tall is the Rat King?
The Rat King is about 5'3", 5'4".
She's gonna walk up, and just grab him, and like lift him up and go, I'm just gonna put you back in the portal, okay? Okay, and just try and push him.
Okay. So let's do a... We actually just get to use grappling rules. That's weird.
Oh dear.
Different.
Okay.
I have to remember those now. So I think what's going to happen at first, it's going to be a contested strength check.
Okay.
So,
I roll strength.
yep, you'll roll your strength.
Please be good. Should have kept that inspiration.
Okay. And I'm going to have him roll his back.
She's not much taller than the Rat King.
Okay, so he gets a 17. So
Okay.
you go to lift him up and chuck him through, and he manages to like push back, and in pushing you back, like he takes his sword and he darts forward at you, but like he doesn't actually run you through. He just pushes you back. So the dance is continuing. So you've now moved back that way, and now he's up here, and the tiny little wooden statue behind you pokes up and stares forward. And I don't have a token for it on the board, and I'm not going to find it at this point. But it marches like right beside you, and it pulls out its own little like wooden sword, and it starts fencing with him.
Oh my god, I don't have time for this.
What's going on? I don't understand.
That
Just-
they very much want to hurt us, but they can't.
Johnny, have you ever seen the Nutcracker?
I saw the version of it that Disney made.
You know what? Good enough. That works for me.
Are we at the part where we throw shoes at him?
Is this the part where they threw shit? I don't remember.
If you want to see if you can remember in character now that you have
Yeah.
context, you can go through history
Yeah.
checks.
I'm
It
gonna
has
do a history
been-
check because I'm just
It
like,
has been
fuck.
at least 2 decades.
That's understandable.
History.
Oh no, Penelope, that's a 10.
Would you like
Oh,
to
that's a
use
2.
your magical golden violin
Yes.
shenanigans to roll a d4 and add it?
I rolled
Yep.
a 2.
Okay.
That was a 2, so 12.
12. Okay. So you remember with 12 that the fight between the rats and the Nutcracker and the various things in front of the tree goes on for a few minutes. And ultimately, the Rat King will have the Nutcracker cornered. And then the little girl hits the Rat King with a shoe. And when he's distracted by the shoe, the Nutcracker runs him through. And then the little girl is taken off to the other world with all the cool stuff, the Sugarfunk players and all that neatness, because she helped out by throwing a shoe. So
whoever throws a shoe is going to get taken to the...
Hopefully not.
All you know is that the Nutcracker defeats the rat with the help of a shoe.
I don't have a giant strength potion for sure. I feel like I didn't leave the house with much other than like my usual supplies.
All right. Penelope, since she's smaller than these rats, which that's a phrase I never thought I'd say out loud. She's gonna sneak closer to the portal.
Okay.
Behind the Rat King.
Okay. Do you want to? So you're gonna be moving. They're distracted, so like you're just gonna have to do a stealth check to see if they notice you.
Yeah. Okay. Stealth check.
Since we're not actually in combat, you can do that.
Penelope, please. That's a 10.
Okay. I will have the Rat King roll his distracted ass. Because like right now, he's doing his job, which is fighting a tiny little doll. Let's see what he does. So you said you had what?
10.
A 10. So he's also got a 10. So he does notice you doing this.
Shit.
But he can't stop you because he's currently fencing with a little statue. But like he notices, and so he calls back to the other rats. The small one seeks to betray us. And the other ones, like the rats, all turn to sort of attack at you, and they'll swing their swords at once, but they hit each other right over you, and none of them actually strikes down. So the dance continues on.
So she's gonna take her shoe off and smack the Rat King in the back of the head with it.
Okay, give me an attack roll without your proficiency bonus, because you're not proficient with shoes.
Nope. Shit, is that just a 20? That's a D20, right?
It'll be a D20 plus or minus your strength, depending on your strength score.
That's a 7. Damn.
Okay, so
Penelope, please.
you wail at him with your shoe, but you can't quite seem to hit his head with all the nonsense going on.
Nope, that's not the right song, Spotify.
All right, asshole, I need you to turn around.
The rat?
Yes. Did you find it?
No. The song titles are so long.
Yeah, that was part of why it was a mess.
But anyway, asshole, I need you to turn around.
Okay.
Right now.
Just your cutting word?
Yes.
I don't think you have cutting word, do you?
No, not cutting word. Vicious mockery.
Vicious mockery. Okay, you can do that.
Okay,
I'll allow it.
I'm gonna just do vicious mockery.
It's a save?
Yeah, wisdom save.
Okay. Okay, so
we're just gonna. I rolled a 14.
He is unperturbed. He's continuing on. He rolled an 18. He's continuing to fight with the tiny little wooden doll. Do you want me to blast him?
I think we just need to get them back through the portal.
Yeah.
Really just him. The others will probably follow.
You know what? Hold, please. I have an idea. That's not gonna work. You know what? Fuck it. Penelope's gonna cast Charm Person.
Okay.
Is that gonna work on a rat? That's probably not gonna work on a rat. But they're standing on 2 legs.
I mean, Charm Person targets humanoids, right?
Yeah.
You can try.
I'm gonna try it. Why the hell not? Let's go.
Okay.
It's another wisdom saving throw.
I'm I'm probably not close enough to guidance. Oh well.
I mean, it'll be his saving throw, so. Wisdom saving throw, same DC as the other one?
Mm-hmm. DC 14.
He rolls a 19.
Oh.
Okay, so the reason we're not doing this in initiative is because they can't hurt you, so it'd be kind of pointless to go through the order. But if so that was a Penelope attempted thing. Would Anise like to try a thing? We're just gonna go back and forth between you. And it's really just a question of how long is this gonna go on, how much noise are they gonna get to make.
That's fair. Anise will turn to Derek and be like, "Help me."
Okay.
She'll just lunge forward and grab for one of his arms, like the one with the sword or something.
Okay. Yeah, do a strength check.
Cool. For a character with not much strength, I sure am trying to do strength things. That's a 10.
Okay.
No. Yeah.
It's an 11.
It's an 11.
It's an 11?
I have it slightly covered because there's a lot of things going on the screen. There we go.
Man, he rolls big. He rolled another 18. Nope, he is just he shoves you off with his elbow as he continues fencing with this tiny little thing, and he's getting the upper hand on the tiny little wooden dude. His wooden sword hitting the little wooden guy seems to be pushing it back a bit, and the little thing is hitting back, but it's definitely not as big as he is, and it's not as capable.
Alright, Penelope's gonna reach out and, like, grab his shoulder and try and spin him around, face her.
Okay. Yeah, that'll... Like, once again, these are all going to be strength checks, because they're all, like, variations on grappling.
God.
All of his soldiers keep trying to hit you, and every time they swing, they all do it at the same time that locks above you.
Mm-hmm.
16.
Okay. Hey, you rolled a 4. All right. You spun him around now. So, yeah, you spun him around, and in the process of him getting spun around, the tiny wooden thing just pokes him in the back, and he does an exaggerated Team Rocket, like, woo! Noise. And his crown tips back and falls off in front of Penelope's feet.
She's gonna bend down and pick it up.
Okay.
And she's gonna be like, do you want this? He can't understand me. If
you want the... What are you trying to do?
Just ask him if he wants this back.
Do you want the crown back, my liege?
You'll return the royal crown to my royal head.
You're gonna have to go get it. And she's just gonna, like, chuck it in the portal behind
Chuck
her.
it in the portal. Okay. I'm not gonna make you roll for that because you're right next to it. So, yeah, it goes right through. And all of the rats gasp.
She's just like, you're gonna have to go get it.
So the Rat King hisses angrily at you now. And he's turning and he's going to swing at you, but he's still bumbling because he can't hit you. At this point, Derek is going to finish up on what you asked him to do before. And he's just going to dive in on this rat that's not paying attention anymore. And he's just going to try to kick him in the back and right over Penelope into the portal.
I'll help.
You want to both do that?
Sure,
Okay.
or I can assist him so we can roll with advantage or something.
Sure, yeah, that works. All right, Derek. Time to roll a thing. Roll that again for advantage. How do you roll a 4 both times? What the hell, Derek? Okay, so even with your help, Derek kicking into this thing can't quite get him to move. And now Derek, I guess, is in the weird, like, this is getting super crowded, but that's kind of appropriate for the play that's going on here. He's in this awkward middle spot now. Why are these things so hard to... Wait, should I throw my shoe at him? Is that what we're doing?
Okay, I can't believe I'm about to try this. That is me saying that. That is not Penelope
Yeah.
saying that. Oh, we're pulling some Princess Tutu bullshit tonight.
Uh-oh.
Alright, she's like, alright. Rat King. And she's gonna, like, hold out her hands. And be like, you're gonna dance with me right now.
Okay, roll persuasion.
Persuasion. Where's persuasion? There's persuasion. 24.
He accepts. He is very livid, and it's like a hate dancing thing, where he like stares down you and he's hissing, but he takes your hands and the dancing continues. So how are you dancing him? Like, what you doing? What kind of dance?
We're gonna do a pas de deux.
Okay.
It's a ballet thing. But she's basically just gonna spin around and stuff with him, and like, as soon as they can get close to the portal, she's gonna like try and just body check him in.
So like a do 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 do
Yeah.
yeet.
Yeah, basically.
Okay. All right. Roll a strength check on him with advantage because he's not aware you're gonna break the terms of the dance.
I was gonna say, is this not a performance though?
No, you're right. Do performance. Performance is way more fun. Yeah, it makes sense. You're dancing. So you do get advantage though because he's not expecting it.
16.
16 with the advantage?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh wait, no, you said with advantage.
With advantage, yeah.
That's a dirty No, I can't do math. That's a 22.
That's a dirty 22. Okay. All right. So yeah, you spin him around, and he's all up close, and he's hissing at you because he's taller than you, but you're taking the lead, and he's the Rat King, and he hates that shit. But as you get him right before, you just sort of chuck him right through the portal, and he goes flying through, hissing the entire time, just going as he gets pulled in. And all of the other rats hiss in like horror of what's happened, and they all bumble over one another, bumping into the lot of you trying to go through this portal. So now Penelope is going to have to not get pulled through with them and the stampede of all these rats.
Oh, jeez.
So give me a dexterity save.
Dexterity save.
Saving, yeah.
Whoa.
Anise is already starting to like lunge forward to try and grab her.
5.
You got a 5. Okay. So
No, wait. I lied. That's a 8.
that's an 8.
I looked at the wrong column.
Okay.
It's an 8. That's still
Still not ideal.
not amazing.
Yeah, so Penelope's getting pulled up in this mess of rats that are making a run for this, and she's gonna get pushed in if you don't do something, Anise.
Oh yeah, I'm grabbing at like her leg or something.
Okay, so give me an athletics check to try to get a good grip on her and pull her through.
Athletics. I have a -2 to athletics.
How?
Oh no! Oh wait,
You
no,
must
that's
have
hemlock.
rolled
That's
hemlock.
It's hemlock. I'm like, how do you have a -2 to athletics? Anise has a good strength.
Well, hemlock is trying. Yeah, there we go. It's a +4. I'm like,
There we
Jesus.
are.
Okay, there
Much
it is.
better.
There we go. Oh,
Hemlock
no.
is trying, but he's just
He's a
tripping
bird.
over himself.
Hemlock is still a bird. Yeah. Okay, so with a 14, you can successfully grab onto Penelope, who, like, as each of the rats are going through the portal, they're pushing her back further and further. And then Anise is suddenly reaching through and grabbing Penelope by a leg. And Penelope, you feel your face getting really, really close to this portal. And as you're about to go into it and you can see inside, you can actually get a very nice view of the moon. And then you get pulled right back before you get pulled in. And all of the rats retreat rather daintily through with like their hands up and that weird anime girl running thing
Oh my god.
all the way through. And so with that, they are all now disappearing.
I'm on top of the Rat King token. There we go.
Okay, so they're all through it now. That's all right. Yeah. So they've all poured through into that thing and off to the other side. And what you can also see Penelope as they get through is the Rat King, upon finding his crown in the dark, looks back at this weird portal thing, and then you can't hear what they're saying through the portal, but you can see the other rats are kind of looking amongst themselves, and he's just like very comically cartoony, like bonks one of them on the head and then they throw their hands up, and then they all just run off stage. Like, just right out of the view of this little sphere thing.
Oh my god.
Well, that was something.
The reverse side of the world is a strange place.
Oh, we've got to shut this portal. We've got to figure out how to shut this portal.
I can't do that again. Ugh.
Someone's got to stay down here. God, I'm just glad that it's only been the Mephits and those clowns so far.
Seems like a very dangerous thing.
Yeah. Maybe one of us can go mostly in and get pulled back by a foot, and we can try and see what's on that side of the world.
I mean, I'm willing to try it. I mean, I'm curious. Like, I was gonna reach out anyway, but not like through the portal. But like,
we don't know. I mean, something similar could happen, and it could just be that our I don't know, clothing starts to disintegrate, or we get sick, or something.
yeah.
They don't die immediately when they come through our side, but we don't know what'll happen on that side.
So you've heard a few things about this before, if you'd like to do an Arcana or a History check, depending on what you're more comfortable with.
What are we gonna do?
Oh, it's a +0 either way. I guess
I
history.
get +3 though.
Hey!
Yeah.
That's
18.
helpful.
18.
Nice, okay.
Yeah.
Then both
What'd
of
you
you.
roll?
15 +3.
No, what did you roll, history or Arcana?
History.
Me too.
So you're remembering the things that you were told before. And so what you were both told before was that the general problem is that on the reverse side of the world, mana is incredibly dense to the point where it's almost suffocating, like it's too much. You would essentially drown in it on that side. So here, it's like a fish coming out of water and flopping around for a little bit until it suffocates. You going there would be like going into the bottom of a pool, and like it's just too much and you can't get what you need out of it. So you wouldn't just up and die, but you would be effectively holding your breath while you're there until you did. So they can walk around here for a little bit because they're just taking what they brought with them, but you going there is actively crushing you. So you kind of get the bends if you're not careful.
Maybe we shouldn't.
Maybe at least you should try and contact the lady.
Yeah. This time I'm going to try something a little different because I didn't use her actual name in the incantation last time, so maybe I'll use that this time. Maybe that'll speed up the connection a little bit or make it less ratty.
Hopefully.
Yeah, you kind of got the vibe that when you were speaking to her in the context of doing a ritual on a lake, you were finding the ruler of the lake. But here you were getting the local ruler, which is apparently a rat.
No. Okay, so she's going to, like, this time she's just going to sit down. She's not even going to try and stand up and do this. She's going to sit down with the bowl in the water again. And then do the incantation, but this time she's actually going to specifically call for Vivian, Lady of the Lake, blah, 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 blah.
All right. Sure. You can definitely do some Arcana on that one, and you can be guidanced if you would like this time.
Yes, guidance.
So enjoy your extra D4.
Okay, I would like some guidance. Guidance would be lovely. It's Arcana?
Yep.
Concentration. Oh no, what'd you roll?
I would love that guidance.
Extra D4.
Yep.
It's a cantrip, so.
Okay.
And an extra D4 from your fiddle if you wish to use it.
How many times can I use that?
I think it's equal to Johnny's proficiency modifier. I'll have to look it up, but I'm pretty sure you get it to use it twice at least.
Okay, so that's a total of 13.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a total of 13.
Okay. So, because you used her name, the difficulty's lower. And so, you reach out through it, and you appear to have succeeded. Because your tiny little water does its thing where the form of the Lady of the Lake will pop up in it in front of you. Although, unlike normally when you do this, actually no, more like normally when you do this, because usually you do this at night, and you get her in the moonlit water. You're getting that this time, whereas when you did it in the weird cave thing before, you were actually getting a brighter version of it because you were getting her during the daylight, which is when you normally can't summon her.
Yeah.
So yeah, you got the more normal version of her. Still tiny though.
Still tiny. But...
So she's popping up in that one. And so it takes her a second because she's taking in her environment just like last time. Because one, she's tiny, and two, you're in another place she's never seen before, which is like surrounded by wood.
Yeah.
Hi again, Penelope.
Hi.
Are you having a?
I'm so sorry.
Did you get out of the place from before?
Yeah. And now we're kind of visiting Anice's neighbors.
So you found another one.
Uh-huh. And then we got attacked by rats because I wasn't very specific. And I accidentally summoned the Rat King.
They couldn't really hurt us.
Yeah.
They did try to attack us.
I'm gonna make her roll to see how familiar she is with the Rat King.
I almost got sucked into the
Very,
portal.
apparently.
And that was a little terrifying.
That probably wouldn't be very good for you, no. It's fortunate that if you're going to get the wrong monarch, you got the Rat King, because he's got to play out his dance every night for all eternity.
Oh no.
Sometimes he wins, sometimes he loses, but he really doesn't have a bigger plan. It's just sort of march around with his rats and remind people that he's a king.
Oh my god. We even had a little nutcracker. It was kind of funny. Like, in retrospect, anyway. At the time, it was just fucking weird.
Well, I'm sure you're familiar with the power of using someone's legend against them. And if not, you might want to learn a bit about that before you go into a Grail War.
Yeah.
But it's good that you found another way to contact me.
Yeah.
So it seems there's a rift in the domain of the Rat King. Can have some people look into that, so to speak.
Yeah, how do you even close these things? Like...
They're brand new. We don't really know either.
God.
But we can probably have someone try to... I know what I'll do.
What?
I have a few knights who are fond of dance. I'll have them keep the rats busy.
Oh no.
At least for the time being, until we can find a solution.
Yeah, because this is not good, and otherwise we're going to have somebody parked down here the entire time, and... Oh god, there's so much that's going on. Like, we're going into Clock Tower tomorrow. Wait, what's today, Sunday? Yeah, that is tomorrow. Jesus. And then there's like a druid thing, and
the Grail Wall,
I guess there's a Grail War happening.
From what you told me, what I believe was your yesterday, it sounds like you've got a lot on your plate.
Yep.
Just a little.
Just a smidge.
Well, we'll do what we can to close off the other side of this one, but at the very least you found a point of contact.
Yeah, that's true.
Just keep an eye out for rats.
Ugh. Yeah, sorry again about literally dropping the connection back in the other place. I didn't
Is that
realize...
what happened? Just I was afraid you were eaten by something.
No, I mean, yes, I've been eaten by something. I'm gone. It's a problem. No, like we went. So the doors there were like a weird thing where you had to like. It kind of like teleported between rooms. And
a mage was mocking space.
Yeah.
That sounds like them.
So, like, whenever we went into a different room, that apparently dropped the connection. And, yeah. I was just like, I really hope she's not pissed at me for that, because I don't need that right now.
You've got your business. It's understandable. You have to get through the moment. It sounds to me like you've got your plate full of tasks for the moment. I'm going to see what I can do about fortifying both of these rifts. They're clearly more, and since you seem to have found someone who's got at least a little bit of experience with it, it might be a good idea to get them to share what they can, or otherwise come up with something to slow this down, but ultimately it would just be a patch on a growing hole.
Yeah. Be like slapping a piece of tape over a leak in a dam. That's not gonna work.
I think there's a strange myth about a boy with a thumb who did that too. I don't want to think about his domain.
Ugh. I don't think anybody does. Okay. Alright, so you do that. I guess we'll go figure... Oh, God. Yeah, we'll go talk to this guy tomorrow, I guess. Seems like the best plan.
Yep. Seems that way.
Ugh.
I'll continue to see what I can do on my end about working with my agents on your side to get you some support.
That'd be great.
We need to let the owner
You're
of this
back in my
place-
islands now. This should be easier.
That's true. That's true. I don't know. Where's your family again? Where's the druid thingy again?
Sherwood.
Sherwood. Do you know anybody in Sherwood?
I have a few agents in the Sherwood area. Some of them, well, if not myself, at the very least, one of my sisters certainly has people there.
Okay. Oh wait. Wasn't it? Did you say it was Nimue last time?
Nimue keeps an eye on the children of the elves, yes.
So I remember that. I remember that from like.
Gemini.
that was
From
like,
real
what, 2
life a
weeks
long
ago?
time
from
ago.
real life a long time ago. From game time. Like,
Yeah.
What? 2 weeks ago?
Yeah, it was very recent.
3 weeks ago? I don't know. But yeah.
Nimue keeps an eye on the children of the elves. I work a bit more with unfortunately the humans, per an old deal with Arturia.
Oh dear.
We made a number of deals, most of which have been woefully unkept. But
Like what? What? I mean, obviously, they're dead now, but.
not as dead as you would think.
Okay. What?
That might be a story for another time.
Okay. Oh no.
Yeah, Anise is just not saying anything. She's just back there like,
Can I do a history check?
Yeah, what are you trying to remember?
If I know anything about this.
About Arthurian legend?
I mean, Uncle Heath just said that the reason why phantasmals are allowed to live in London is because of an old deal between the Fae.
Was I in the room for that?
Maybe?
I don't think I was in the room
I
for
think
that.
you might have stepped out to go.
So Uncle Heath
Yeah.
said that courtesy of the Tiefling lawyer, the reason why phantasmals are allowed to live in London in the first place is because of an old deal from before London was even there between the Fae and King Arthur.
Oh.
But we don't know what the deal is.
Does Penelope know this?
Penelope
Is it
would
just
have
a
been in
thing
the
that
room.
Penelope would know? You could roll history on that.
That's okay. That's
Yeah.
I think that's
was
what I was
Penelope
trying to.
in the room and
I don't think so.
I think Penelope stepped out when she stepped out because we made
Yeah,
another joke
that's
about it.
right. Okay.
So that's history. 12. 12.
Okay, that's a bit obscure for you.
Yeah, she don't know she.
But like Anise was just told that today, so
Does Anise know that Arturia is King Arthur?
there's no way she would know that.
Okay.
Like
Oh, then
practically
yeah.
no one knows that. Like that wouldn't even be a thing you could roll for. As like Vivi doesn't even know that.
Got it. Okay, Anise
Yeah.
is not saying anything.
I mean, So I guess that was a friend. I don't know. That's a really weird name.
It was a strange one. She was a weird girl.
Wonder what kind of deal it was. But I mean, I guess it's not my place to pry, but.
We've made a number of deals. If you're ever interested in making a new one, we could certainly discuss one.
What kind of deal?
Service in exchange for assistance with something that you're trying to do. I assume our goals align. That's how Penelope became a warlock.
Got the bard lock.
But if you're specifically curious, the King of Camelot came to us for assistance when a new sword was needed. So a sword and a scabbard were provided. And in exchange, they were meant to be returned. And, well, we've gotten neither of those back yet.
You told me about that. Oh.
We made a separate deal where we allowed the founding of their city in exchange for an honor and trust in the old ways and the new. And so far as we've been able to tell, the rise of Christianity did not bode well for the ancient ways, though. My understanding is that many of our legends became saints, so perhaps that was a strange compromise in and of itself.
Maybe. I'm gonna have to get back to you on that deal. But I'm thinking about it. I don't know.
That is perfectly understandable. Do not enter deals lightly.
No.
Least of all with the Fae.
No. What would I have to do? Like, I wouldn't have to kill anyone, would I?
If necessary.
Oh God. I don't like that very much.
Our current goal is to prevent the destruction of both sides of the world.
I mean, that's fair.
But you would have to do whatever it takes in the process.
Yeah, I'm gonna get back to you on this.
It's like,
That's
maybe murder.
Maybe murder's not really necessary right now.
Later, the siren call of Eldritch Blast.
Yeah, let me think it over a little more. Obviously we have the same goal, but I don't know what I would get out of it either, and that's a little.
If you come up with something that you'd like, just you know how to reach me now.
That's true. We don't have to wait for a full minute anymore, so yay. Okay. Well, cool. Now we've confirmed that this is a portal. I've confirmed that you're not pissed at me. At least I don't think so. Anybody else want to confirm anything while I'm here? Well, I've got a floating lady in a bowl of water.
Nope.
Derek is just watching all of this play out, like, huh.
Johnny, do you got anything to contribute?
Are you making deals down there, Penelope?
Not yet.
We'll talk.
Oh, God. Okay. Alright, yeah, I think we're good. Alright, I'll talk to you later.
Good luck with your adventures in Clock Tower.
Thank you.
Just splash the water on the ground.
No, she's just gonna, like...
Pour it back.
I don't know how to cancel this when it's not a body of water that isn't in a bowl.
It just sinks back down when she's done.
Then she pours it back in the bottle and just puts everything back in her bag, and she's just like...
Not that I'm suggesting this, but what are the ethics of drinking that?
What, of drinking water that the lady at the lake has appeared in?
Seems like weird, but also...
Worse has happened to... Like, she's been summoned in toilet water.
Anyway...
So what are the ethics of... Yeah, no, I'm not even going... Like,
look, we need to let Fletcher know about this. We need to let Uncle know about this.
Yeah.
Oof.
Just like glaring at the bottle of water now, like, what are the ethics?
I mean, it's just water, but it's also not just water now. Is it like blessed water now?
Not really. So otherwise, there's blessed toilet water out there, and I don't.
Fairy water?
Ooh.
Sell it. Don't fit. Maybe I could make a potion.
I mean, if you want, there you go.
You keep it. You might need it.
I've got to find an easier way to get in contact with her than like a bowl and some water.
I mean, this is already a lot easier than waiting a month and finding a lake.
That's true.
What we need is to figure out a way to.
I need like a reverse side of the world cell phone.
Kinda.
Wait, can I use sending?
I think it has to be on the same plane, maybe?
Hold, please.
I don't think sending actually has a plane restriction. I think that's one of the reasons it's a 3rd level spell instead of a 1st level spell.
Send a short message of 25 words or less to a creature with which you are familiar. Here's the message in its mind. Recognizes you as the sender and can answer in a like manner immediately. Enables creatures with intelligence scores of at least 1 to understand the meaning of it. You can send the message across any distance and even to other planes of existence.
That's why it's a 3rd level spell.
But if the target is on a different plane than you, there's a 5% chance that the message does not arrive.
Yeah, just a d20 roll.
Oh my god, I'm gonna try it. I'm gonna try it. But wait, no, we should probably try it when they're not right by the portal.
Yeah.
Okay, she's just like, oh my god, I just had an idea. Okay, as soon as we leave here, if we need to get like a little further away. I have an idea. I have to try it. Oh my god, I can't believe I didn't think of this before.
Right. I guess. I suppose we can assume that the portal is okay for now.
Yeah, I mean they've got the rats distracted, or they're gonna be distracting the rats. Like maybe the nutcracker dude over here, which points at the little wooden guy, could keep an eye on it.
He waves back at you.
Can you keep an eye on this?
He salutes you. And then he walks over and he stands in front of it with his sword out like he's going to fight whatever comes through.
I suppose we can tell Fletcher to have a shoe handy.
I mean, can't hurt.
The little nutcracker walks over to the side and grabs one of the clogs. And then he comes back and he holds the clog in one hand and then the sword in the other.
Right. Okay.
Yeah, if the rats come through, attack them. Then the best way you know how, because you're a nutcracker. Yeah. How am I able to talk to this thing? I can't speak with plants. This is a plant thing, right?
I think he understands you.
Okay, cool. I'm just not gonna question it. Ugh. Alright, yeah, I'd say we head back upstairs.
Yeah.
Go.
So we're gonna go back up.
Okay.
Let Fletcher know what's going on in his basement.
Okay, so when you get back upstairs, you can see that right now Fletcher and your Uncle Heath are standing around outside talking to some really flamboyantly dressed, obviously mage people. And each time you can't hear what they're saying from the distance and through the walls, but it's very much a case of, so one of the mage people is this guy. He's got black hair. He's got like a smile, but it's not like a very sincere looking smile. It's more of a customer service smile. And he keeps saying things to Fletcher, and Fletcher keeps replying back with his own like slower, more reserved response. And it seems to be messing with him because like they're both having like a fake smile off, but like Fletcher's way more patient. And like all of this is going on, and Uncle Heath is just watching both of them go back and forth. And like the other two guys from the Mage Association who were there really look like they're just meant to be muscle so that this first guy doesn't get his ass kicked, because as Anise knows, sometimes when they come around like waving dick like that, they get their asses kicked.
Mm-hmm.
And so ultimately the guy seems to just get perturbed, like he can't seem to sweet talk his way into the situation. Penelope, do an Arcana check. And Anise can as well, actually, because you've seen it enough times by now.
That's 5. Penelope's just rolling shit today.
Apparently.
That's a 10.
Okay, so Penelope knows it looks like he's fidgeting a bit in his pockets, but otherwise not too much is coming out of it. Anise can see that he's fidgeting in his pocket, but he's fidgeting with a thing. And it reminds you of sometimes when you see people like Penelope casting a spell and trying to be subtle about it and fidgeting with their focus, like out of sight. And you've seen Penelope cast this spell before because it's suggestion.
Oh boy.
Like, because you've seen it so many times, the 10 was enough. And when he does that, Fletcher, the big furbolg, sort of pats him on the shoulder with his big giant hand and goes, you can hear this because it's louder than the rest of it. He goes, that's really cute, but stop. And the guy gets flustered and he just turns around and that snooty, like he drops the whole facade. And it's like a really snooty thing, just like marches away down the street, like all pissy. And then like Fletcher and Uncle Heath turn around and come inside of Fletcher's house now. And they can see the lot of you standing at the top of the stairs. And then Fletcher says, that guy's a ray of sunshine. But not.
Oh no.
Anyway, it looks like they're gonna leave for a little bit. They were asking about what the noises were, but I just told them that my basement has rats, and they seemed to believe me.
Your basement does actually have rats.
That's not good.
No, okay. Hold on. All right. Some
It's like you're not far off, but
some big humanoid rats came out of the portal. Have you ever seen or heard of the Nutcracker, the play?
I remember one of my plants asked if it could be made into one of those on account of the fact that when it was growing, there was this big walnut tree that kept dropping nuts on it, and it wanted revenge.
Oh, so there's this...
So I made it into a thing that could crack nuts.
Well, it's good that you did. So there's this play called The Nutcracker, and there's the villain of this play is called the Rat King, and he fights with the Nutcracker, and the Nutcracker, wins against him, and all that jazz. And apparently, it's become such a popular legend that there's now a Rat King that lives somewhere on the other side of the world, and he and his entourage came through, and your little Nutcracker helped us fight them off, but
that was good of him.
We were able to get them back through the portal without, hurting any of them or them hurting any of us. They were actually quite inept. But yeah, so we were actually really fighting rats.
That's a lot of fun. Did
That's-
anybody get hurt?
I don't think so.
Well, that's good.
I mean, emotionally maybe.
So we think we've got someone on the other side of the world helping keep them distracted, but we told you Nutcracker guy to keep watch to make sure they don't come back through. But that's what's happening.
That sounds like something they'd like to do.
In your basement, rats. They were taller than Penelope.
They were big.
That's unfortunate, but it sounds like everything worked out okay, give or take. Maybe I'll poke my head down there once in a while and make sure nothing else comes through, just in case.
Just in case. And as soon as we've got any leads about how to seal the portal or make it so that nothing wants to come through, we will absolutely do whatever we can.
At that point, your uncle sort of chimes in. I think it might be a good idea if we maybe get one of your cousins to help out, keeping an eye on it.
Yeah.
I know one of them would see it as a duty, and the other one would maybe be kept out of trouble. So I'll make them take shifts.
That's a good idea. It seems that the place on the other side of the world is night when it's day here and day when it's night here, and I think the Rat King only goes out at night. So there's that.
That sounds like something we could probably work a thing or two out from. I think
maybe we should have kept him around and interrogated him or something.
I didn't want to deal with him
Me
anymore.
neither.
I'm pretty sure he would have melted.
Probably.
Yeah. And from what Vivian was saying, I don't think he doesn't seem like a very
Smart.
capable person, rat.
thing. Yes.
Like he probably, you know what it kind of reminds me of in a really weird way, because the way she said it is like he has to do that dance like every day. It kind of reminds me. Do you remember the cafe that we ran into back in France?
Oh, yeah, sort of.
Where everybody was kind of stuck in that same loop.
Yeah, or maybe like a, Sisyphus rolling the boulder.
Ooh, yeah.
Well,
But yeah, so maybe he's just stuck in a loop and can't actually answer our questions. Maybe he doesn't realize that he's from the other side of the world.
I think that's probably right.
Maybe he's just like, yep, I'm here, bitches. I'm a rat. You know, that kind of thing. I don't know.
So that's what's going on in your basement, Fletcher.
Well, I'm glad it wasn't something that blows up this time.
Yes, I definitely thought a lot about what if we had to fight them and use magic that catches things on fire.
Please don't do that.
I won't.
Do you think any of your plants would want to grow up around it and make like a fence to help?
I could ask.
I mean, I don't know how plants decide what they want to do, but it couldn't hurt.
Some of them have very specific ideas. Others seem to just sort of want to figure it out as they go.
That's fair.
Some of them are like, I'm going to grow up to be a great arrow. And someday I'm going to soar through the sky like a bird and then poke into someone's butt. Others decide to take a more step-by-step approach and they don't even realize that they're a chair until someone's butt is sitting on them. What I'm saying is that sometimes plants don't really know what's going on.
That's fair, though.
Who does, though?
That's a true problem. Or perhaps that's the fun and the point of life. Mostly my job is to give them what they need to become what they want. And that's worked out pretty well for me for a long time.
Well, thank you for letting us poke around in your basement. Sorry that there were rats.
No, I'm glad you took care of them. It would have been a problem if a bunch of rats walked out while we were talking to those people outside.
Yeah, that definitely would have been a problem.
That would have been really bad.
Alright, shall we get back to the shop then?
Yeah. But also I want to test my theory out.
Sure, can you do it on the way to the shop?
I think the further we get away from the portal, the less likely the portal will interfere with it, I guess. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
It's 9:57, by the way.
Yeah. I mean, I think this is the easy pausing point at this, regardless.
Yeah.
So, there you have it, your Christmas episode. We did
Hooray!
it. We did the Christmas special
Lord.
in April.
Yep. But it's Christmas for us.
Yeah.
But it's
Sort
April
of.
in game. I guess I can roll off camera to see if I can make potions. I don't need to RP that.
Yeah, that's fine. We don't need to do that on the stream. So.
Unless we want to have a montage and shenanigans.
Oh no. Gonna need a montage.
No.
But yeah, so we're gonna wrap up with that, and next time when we pick up, I think we'll get to fast forward pretty easily through the rest of Sunday because it's gonna be more downtime stuff, and then we can jump straight into your field trip to Clock Tower.
Yay!
So that'll
Surely
be fun.
that'll only take a week or two.
There's no way that would take an indefinite amount of time given all of the NPCs you want to meet and goals that you have.
I don't know what you're talking about.
We'll see what happens.
Yay!
So, thanks everybody for listening. We will see you later.